No intro. Go fuck yourselves. You know what it is. Look what you've done to yourself. I'm having a wheat beer. This will almost certainly make my ass
Wheat.
Erdinger or Weiss beer even. But it's this is the stuff I shouldn't be drinking.
What have I got? I got bloody squash. I got beer.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to drink at all. I haven't drunk in a week, and then because you mentioned it, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go and get one of the day. And I thought it feels good. I've been quite well behaved. I've been watching a buddy of mine from America. He's been doing a 24-hour sketch, like 24 sketches in 24 hours, and he did it in 19 for Christine Levine thing. So he's done like today, like this is some of the stuff he's done. He's done some Terminator stuff. Well, I don't know, Aliens.
That's sick.
But he's basically done 24 sketches. I think he did 23 in time. All Predator stuff. Boy. No, he's pretty cool.
That's heavy. Yeah. Brett Brock.
Brett Brock at Husky Boyo. Yeah, he does them live twice a week, and basically he drinks beer and draws while drinking. So he'll go for 5-6 hours and just get hammered. And he can still draw like that. It's insane. But yeah, Brock knows Stan Hope. He used to do a lot of their touring posters.
I follow him on Twitter because of the picture he did of you.
Yeah. That's right. I've got to pick up the original. It's in Wales currently. It got sent after 6 months.
Oh, that's sick.
It's at Jamie's house. So I'm going to pick it up in about a couple of weeks. Bit weird to have a picture of yourself in the house, I think, but I think it's quite nice. So,
no, I think that's pretty fucking cool. Like, it depends if you did it. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
I mean, there are people out there who send as gifts pictures of themselves. I've seen that. That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
Doing
what though as well? Like,
years ago, my brother's father-in-law, and they didn't really get on or anything. But for Christmas, he sent the family a picture of himself. Like he went and got a photographer to take it. It's all Vaseline lens, and it's the what the fuck? What's this?
What boudoir?
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah. So Edinburgh, basically, I took the train up at last minute. I didn't make my bus, and I'm getting a refund for it because it was like 3 hours late. I just need to chase them up. It's obviously pricey, but I got up there and I missed. So I missed the first gig on the first night because I got in at 1 a.m. and I was fuming, dude.
What the first one you've been booked in for?
Yeah, and I was like,
"Oh, mate, yeah."
And the second night I couldn't get on because I think there was a little bit of a you didn't make it last night, but you know we ironed that out. But finding Drunken Heckle was really good because it meant I love those late shows. So like run comedy at 11 and then run to Drunken Heckle at midnight.
Yeah,
did it twice, and it's like so when Flynn went up and did it, there was a girl in the audience. She had like 11 really good heckle. She was really funny. I think there's even one that we told him to put in his stand-up. You know, the opening when he's deprecating himself. It was something to do with Hitler in World War One, but it was pretty good. I can't remember what it was. But when you look at Dave, you think, yeah, yeah. But she was good. But yeah, it's definitely. I think you're allowed to steal from the audience, right?
Yeah, surely. Like I think in general, like if someone says something that's funny and like proper cutting, you got to be like, well, I'll have that.
Well, yeah, some of my stuff comes from conversations I've had, but I don't tell. You know what I mean? I'm not telling them, not necessarily with comics, but just people. And then I'm like, well, I'm talking about that.
Yeah,
yeah. And I might even use your real name. Yeah. So I think this time actually it was quite nice. Everyone was in a really good mood, and I went up for 3 days, and I was up there for 1 day, but I was actually going up to see a friend, but I popped into the festival. It was 32 degrees the first time I was up there.
Yeah,
it was a bit much because it was hard to sleep, and then all day, you know, Edinburgh's so hilly.
Yeah.
You're just walking in the sun up hills all day.
Some of those venues are small, like they can be really quite sweaty places.
Yeah, you come in from being warm and go into a tiny little room, and you're still sweating.
Yeah.
So
and then obviously if it's packed with people, then it just gets warmer. Like it can be a weird thing. Yeah.
It was tough. I don't think Scottish people have ever seen it at 32 degrees for like weeks on end.
Yeah.
But then when I went up last week, it was all the rubbish hadn't been collected in 3 weeks or whatever it is because they're on strike. It looked like a war zone, but actually, it didn't smell. I don't know why. Whether there were perfume in it or something, it didn't seem to stink up the streets. It was just a mess.
That's.
I'll say this on now. I crashed with some students that Flynn put me in touch with, and guess what? I haven't paid him yet, and I'm seriously considering just not.
Surprised. I'm surprised to hear that, Carl.
No, only because it's funny. That's all. Like it's very cheap, and they did me a big favor. I had a bit of floor with like 5 other people in the room.
That doesn't deserve payment.
No, and do you know what? I was getting in at like. If any of them ever watch this, I'm sorry, but they were having a 10-minute tidy in the morning. And every time they started that, I was just like, "See you later. You enjoy yourself."
How much do you have to pay for the privilege for a bit of floor and a 10-minute? No, but
25
quid. Fuck off. 25 quid.
To be honest, if you slept in a hostel, it's like 80. Maybe you get a 40 for like a room for 12 strangers.
It's weird that I went up in 2019 and I got a hostel and it was like £18 a night. It's dirt cheap.
I was there, but I didn't know you were. I think we went at different times. But I camped up by the airport, and it was. To be honest, I think I might have paid 50, but it was they had put the tent up for me. I didn't have to do anything. They had pre-pitched air mattress. They gave me a free beer on the way, and the only ball ache was getting a bus out at 1 a.m. because it was just heaving with people. There was like people waiting for a bus.
Yeah.
But it was all right actually. It was nice weather, and then. Last year, I had a hostel next to where Bob's venue is on the next street. And that was like 35. It wasn't too bad because it was COVID-y as well. There weren't many people there.
Right, yeah.
But this year, that same place was like, they were trying 110, but on the day, you could probably get it for like 60. It's still quite a bit more. And Dave stayed somewhere where I found a couple of 40 quid a night, which is, look, for the festival, it's pretty good. I ended up taking just this flat space just because it was dirt cheap.
Yeah.
It wasn't comfortable. It's too warm, too many people. But I don't know. There's got to be. I think they'll have to do something next year because I think it's getting the attention on that's getting quite big now, or like how much places are charging. And it's not those hostels; it's hotels charging 300 a night, 500 a night. People, Airbnb. Even you look at you renting out a little room for 200 a night.
Yeah,
you can take advantage, but there should be some intervention, I think, on that, and just say, look, cap it. You can't take the piss too much.
I think it'll go the way of like Glastonbury Festival. So Glastonbury Festival like is very, very corporate. You know what I mean? And like people that go to Glastonbury Festival aren't hippies. They're like 50-year-old Guardian reading twats.
Yeah,
for the majority.
It changed. Even places like Reading changed. I went there when I was really, really young, and it was starting to go a bit then. And now it's like 300 quid for a weekend. You're paying.
There you go.
You want some chips? It's like 15 quid, and you get about 4.
Yeah, exactly, right. And like, there's always going to be a market for that, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be for people that are just sort of starting out. It's going to be for people act-wise. It's going to be people that are fully making money off it already and have something marketable. When it started out, Edinburgh, it was like you go up there with an idea and you spend a month working on your show, and then you can tour that for the rest of the year. And now it's like you spend a month showing off your show that is a finished product. So
I saw like I can see the benefit of it from this year, but there's a lot of that. There's too much of that. There's too many people who've literally got nothing, and then they go up, and it's I don't know what they're fucking doing. They're just running around taking. I bumped into Alan Carr in a chip shop. I know that's a real person, but I'm sure lots of people did that. Look at me. there's a lot of I'm here kind of thing. I'm
part of it.
Yeah, it's like I can see the benefit of doing it. Like, so on Solvend, he finished on like 9. This is Brett Brock. He finished on 19 hours, but he was already up. He'd been up for like 35 hours because he was up at 3 a.m. stressing the day before. So he did it. He did all 24. He's a legend. He's probably going to raise. There's an auction next Friday. I think it's starting at $50, so it'll be at least $1,000. Probably raise a couple of grand. So yeah, get bidding.
Bad.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm not super cynical as well, but it was quite nice to bump into people. Like I was going to see his show, I guess, but I also bumped into like Greg on the street and stuff, and had a chat to him, and then went and saw his show. And it's a really nice little room he had, but it was a warm room. I get one of those, and some venues are fine, like because you've got a flyer a lot before, and some are fine, but some of them you're not getting a lot of foot traffic, or there's like building work outside, so you can't get. So a lot of them are spending like 8 hours a day flyering as well.
I mean, that is demoralizing. That is demoralizing work,
especially if 4 people come in.
Yeah.
But then I think a lot of people that we know, I think did all right. They were getting some nights with 6, but then you would get some with like 50, and it was sort of up and down. I think so. It's like you're getting those good nights to keep you doing it. I guess the only way you can really be comfortable up there is to get a flat and get fucking 6 of you in it. I guess if you can have like 3 beds and a couple of couches or something where it's not, no one's on the floor.
Yeah. I think it like the only way that makes sense to me is like, I don't know, camper van.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure. I'm sure you can put. Yeah, there's plenty of places to park those, even a little bit out of the city or something. Get a 24-hour Asda car park or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just sort of make that home for a bit. Get a gym membership.
Yeah, I know some. Whoever, I can't remember their name. Whoever I'm seeing on Facebook or whatnot, there were a couple of people I saw were using Pure Gym for the shower.
Yeah.
Just they were camping, but.
I think Dave mentioned that he was thinking of doing it.
He was thinking of sleeping in his car, and I was telling him he was thinking of going for the week, and I was like, Dave,
I did it. I've done that.
Yeah, but we're all getting older, and it's like a week in your car.
Yeah, I didn't do a week. I did it in 2016. Me and a mate went up. We drove up to Edinburgh, slept in the car that night, then went into Edinburgh. And then, I mean, saw a lot of shit. Fucking, it was pretty sick. But then had enough, slept in the car and drove home.
Yeah, you can get exhausted up there pretty quickly. So yeah, my sleep wasn't great. And that's another thing they were doing. These lovely people that let me sleep in their flat. It was like, can you not be too late, please? Because they had a lockbox with the key. I was like, put the key in the lockbox. And they were like, I would rather stay up. And it's like, and it's at 1 and they're texting me. I was like, I don't know. I've just finished a set at 1 and now I'm going for a beer with Dave. So I might be back at 2. I don't know. But yeah, we sorted out in the end and it was all right. But it's a little bit of moaning like that. But it's, I think once they found out I was a horrific, creepy uncle, there's nothing. I was just going to do what I wanted. They left me alone. Maybe I'll pay him. Maybe I'll pay him. Thing is, I did actually say give me your bank details, and they haven't. So it's like it's not really.
Oh well, fuck them. Yeah, fuck them. You've tried. You've done everything.
Yeah, and I did. On the way out the first time, one of the lads was okay. Said come and do their stand-up show. And to be honest, some of it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to finish that sentence. But it was quite a student-heavy show, audience and comics. So I was filling a spot, and I went on last. And there was half. I would say half my set just got a lot of like.
I think it's almost inevitable when you're the oldest person. I mean, we're not even old. You know what I mean? Well,
I got a free pint because I started on the barmaid because she was trying to be quiet. You could hear her clinking, so I can't remember what I called her, like Clinky Magoo or something. And as I was going, she just put a pint on the bar next to me. I said, "Am I paying for that?" She goes, "No, you're the only one that looks over 18."
Ah, that's good. That is
so
good.
I made him wait and downed it as well. I was like, but what I had, it's one of those ones where I just had fun with it. You know, it's not going to be great audience wise. So I was like, I'm just going to have fun. Like, I'm going to have a nice time, whether you do or not.
I had a good one in Worcester on Thursday. I sort of had the same attitude actually. Sort of like, oh, this is going to be, it was like in a weird little bar where it's not set out and the audience all spread out, even though it's tiny. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, this is going to be bad. And actually, it was good fun. It was good fun.
Yeah, Worcester's a nice place for it. I mean, obviously, Dave had Paradiddles, which I think he stopped, and he had Arts Rivals, which is good. He's just started another one, I think, as well.
I think he has, yeah.
Checkers or something in a pub.
I don't know the name of it, but yeah.
I think it's Checkers in or something, but it's I'll get over there for sure. There's some good nights up there. I think there's at one point there were like 6 nights. It was quite a small place, but it doesn't feel like there's too much. It's still a night. It's still there's not 50 nights on.
No, and they seem to get the audience as well. That's the thing. Like
good and loyal audience as well, and people pay money and all that stuff. So it's
yeah. Who's there? There's Dave, obviously. Lynn, do you know her? Lynn Smith.
Yeah,
she's fucking sick.
Yeah, she's funny.
Yeah, very funny.
There's a few good comics around there. I don't know everyone that runs them, but
yeah.
I think. Oh yeah, I'm trying to learn not to say stuff if I don't really need to say it. So it's tough. Sometimes it's just I don't really care. I'm not really worried about burning bridges. It's just I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nicer. Public.
Yeah.
I'll threaten to go and get a gun occasionally and like not mention a name of a place, but just occasionally. If we lived in Texas, I probably would have shut up an open mic. That's all I'm saying.
I saw a clip that what's that guy Jeremiah
Watkins?
I don't know. Yeah, he does
LA.
Yeah, I think he used to be on Kill Tony and play saxophone.
Yeah, he was in the band. Jeremiah Watkins.
Yeah. I saw a clip that he put up where some guy is like heckling him and then just threatens to stab him. It's fucking horrible.
There was one Kill Tony live when they went on tour. Some guy on mushrooms got up and started to. I think he grabbed the saxophone and tried to swing on him.
Oh.
And so, first of all, he's the nicest guy in the world. And why would you do that on mushrooms? Why aren't you just looking at the lights?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
I think Big J Okerson had to get in the way and like sit him down.
I think I might have seen that clip actually. Yeah, I went through a big phase of watching loads of Kill Tony stuff. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I go in and out of it. I went to the live show in London. I tried to get up, but honestly, they to be fair to them, they went longer and they put on like 30 comics, so they put on way more than they normally do.
Sick.
But I guess 50 applied, and I was in the other ones.
Yeah.
But it was nice. It was really good to see it live actually, and there was they got some. Because you never know whether you're going to get maniacs or like some funny people, but I think quite a lot of them are quite good.
Yeah, that's good. Like you do need a bit of there is some mania creeping out of the woodwork at the minute, and like there is I don't know, there is.
Yeah. There's a lot. I think post pandemic it just inspired a lot of fucking mentally ill kids. But it's that's not the worst thing because you're always going to get that. The worst thing is when they're like encouraged.
Yeah, and there is a lot of like stuff about 2020 still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that's enough. I mean, I'm going to lie to people. If anyone asks me about COVID, I'm just going to say it was 2 weeks off work. The mainstream media are exaggerating.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't reference it at all in my set. Like, I think it's fucking boring.
Nah,
right.
I made a couple of things, but like a year ago.
Yeah, same. I had like a couple of jokes about like just being glad to go back to work because all my furniture was uncomfortable. That was the main thing. But like even that, it's just ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's. I mean, even I've probably been doing some of my stuff way too long now, but it's because I guess it was a bit stop start, and then when I was away for 3 months, it's tough to just go and do all new stuff. So I was like, okay, but I'm putting new bits in, and now, but I'm trying to do something every day now. So I'm trying to at least do something every day, whether it's like taking a set and then getting something new and putting it in it, and taking another new one and putting it in, and then so the next time I go up, there will be 3 more new bits, and then the next time another one, just to try and replace it. Slowly.
Yeah. No, I hear you. That's yeah.
I think I probably had some of those for too long, but sometimes it's easy because now some of them work, and it's like, if this isn't going well, I'll just do this one, which I think is okay.
I think there's I don't know, man. Like, I'm just building towards like I just want to have a 20-minute set. You know what I mean? That's what I want to have.
That's now if I replace this 10 to 15, then I've got 20. 25, and then just make sure all the time.
Always cycling. But like part of it, I think, like part of the difficulty of it is performing stuff that might be a bit old, but like you can't. I don't think I can do a whole new 10 minutes and expect it all to be worth keeping.
Yeah, exactly.
So. And then you can go up and maybe do the new stuff with like enthusiasm because hey, it's new. And then you sort of get to the older bits and you sort of die on your ass, but it's because it's good stuff, but you've performed it kind of crap. That's certainly my experience anyway.
Yeah, I just want to do a lot of stuff now. There's no point in hanging around too much. Do you want to be 11 years in and just be doing like 5 minutes down the fucking dog and duck?
Yeah,
not really. No. So get that 20, get a good 20, and then beg people to let you do it somewhere.
I feel like when I started, like 5 minutes even seemed like an unbelievable amount of time to be on stage, and like an unbelievable amount of like jokes to have to write, and then you sort of build towards 10 with relative ease. And then you sort of start hitting going like, oh, that was actually 12 minutes. You know what I mean? I want to get to that point where I've got 20 minutes and I'm able to go like, oh, that was actually 24 minutes I did there. And just build and build until it's and obviously the trick with that is that you're going to have to be cycling through quite a lot of stuff to make the 20 fresh. But
but I think we should be able to do it. I mean, I guess there's less spots this side. I'm always looking at America and always looking. Okay, if you're in New York, you can do 50 spots a week.
Yeah.
But probably not all of them are beneficial. But if you can get 4 or 5, in a good month, you're not always going to be able to do it because here you just got to travel. You got to get to different cities and all that stuff. It's expensive and all that, but if you really focus on writing more often, like because normally I'll just like hang around, I think of something, I'll make a note and then I'll sort it out later. But now I'm trying to most days sit down even for 5 minutes and either get something new or tweak something or write up one note or something. 4 or 5 days a week, and then if you do that for 2 or 3 months, you should be getting as long as you're getting spots to go up and do it, you should be able to get a new 10 minutes in not too much of a time, really. Because my 10 that I had, the base of it came off of going to Edinburgh in 2019. It was just I was writing up there and then coming back and like obviously there's been a lot more and it's changed and stuff, but the base of it started then. And with COVID and stuff, it just obviously couldn't do a lot. I've got stuff scattered around, so it's just a case of building another set, which I think, to be honest, I don't know, it shouldn't take more than a couple of months to and then you can go and work that a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon eventually, I want to get to a point. It's not even like I reckon if you can do literally the maths of it is if you can do 5 minutes a month at the end of the year, you've got a new hour.
Which is what you should be trying to do. because it's not it's not that difficult to get like 30 seconds, is it? Like a joke or a bit, really.
Yeah,
so
it should be.
But I think a lot of it is not about laziness because I'm doing spots, but yeah, I just trying to write in different ways. I think as well, just trying to push it a bit more. Cause I can't sit down and go write dogs. Let's write about dogs. I can't do it. But maybe I should try. Maybe I should try something like that and just write like a page in a Word doc or something, and then there might be 2 or 3 things in that are funny. I do these. I co-run a fantasy football league, and every Friday I write. I do an update for it, but I start off writing absolute bollocks, and it started out to try and upset people at work. It's a lot of people from my old job, so I thought if I write 500 words on, I don't know, CIA black sites, it just might be funny. But some of the stuff I've got a few of them saved, and I should look through them because there's some funny stuff in there. And I just something about care homes as well, like I did this week.
Yeah,
It's normal for them to stand on your head, Nan, and all that. Force feed your cabbage. That's normal. This is what you say for you. And then just make something irrelevant, and then talk about the week's football league. But I should look through those. I guess I never really thought. I think I've had a couple of things that are kind of bits, but I've never really thought about. Oh, I'm writing quite a lot of stuff that I think's funny, so there must be something you can extract from it for bits.
Yeah, I guess it's like roast battles, right? It's like roast battling. The most fun bit for me is the writing, because you've got like a bit of a criteria on this person, and you've got to write jokes, and it sort of gets you into that same sort of mindset, I guess. Like, well, I've got to write a joke about blah blah blah, and
it's easier than you think. Like I had for Jeffries, we had a few weeks, but I did most of them in 3 days under pressure. But then, as we know, I miscalculated and got a little bit drunk, so I couldn't really express what I wanted to say that well. Listen, it was COVID. I was excited. I drank a bottle of wine on the train. But I thought we were getting there, having a drink and going to do it. But instead, I got there and everyone's just chilling, and we had like 5 beers. I was like, I've already had wine.
I felt pretty smashed when I was up there, but yeah, you were in another league, man. That was something else.
Well, I met Dave earlier with a couple of them down Mother's Ruin in the daytime, I think so. And I'd had the wine, and I just it was a miscalculation, is what it was. But the jokes were good, I promise. But I did enjoy writing it, and then the roast battle with Flynn in December.
Yeah.
Willoughby. And then I did a couple of things for we did another like cancer podcast last week, and we did this semi-fake emotional thank you video for him, and then roasted the guy. Just did like 5 or 6 mean ones. But yeah, I like just sitting, and I did those in a day as well. Those were like one evening. I just sat down and got 6 horrible things.
That's what's good about it though. Like, I don't know, it's kind of gross race battles because like it is just grim, and there's a special time and place for it for sure. And while it is fun, like it is that exercise of like writing stuff. And the alternative is weird. Like, what are you going to do? Like, go, oh, I'm going to read the newspaper, and the 5th word I read, I'm going to write something about that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm writing about wheelbarrows today. But
I bet there are comics out earning a living from that.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it sort of like trains some sort of improvisational bit of the brain. Like, hey, give me a subject. Oh, it can be funny about anything. But that's kind of cringe as fuck as well, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I honestly think there's a lot of people on like the club circuit that aren't even. Well, we know there's a lot of them that aren't funny, but they're not even. You know, it's just tone and like. And then now you're supposed to laugh. There's a lot of that at clubs because a lot of people go.
What's that quote? Bloody a comics, what's it like? A comedian says funny things. A comic says things funny. like saying things in a funny way, you know.
Yeah, and it's the people who get away with just mannerisms and stuff, but sometimes that does add to it, because even if like some of it, I know if you take like some of the older Louis specials, sometimes if you read, because I like looking at the transcript sometimes and seeing what does an hour look like. Oh, it's this many pages, and sometimes you can read it, and I guess part of it is I know them so well, but part of it is like, yeah, sometimes the words are funny, but they're not as. It's still performance, isn't it? So sometimes it's still the way that you move a little bit, or the facial expression and stuff.
Yeah, the delivery definitely is. Yeah.
I don't know what the point was, but yeah, I think it's just when you think about stuff, sometimes you can, the words aren't as good as I thought, but it's all brilliant when you see it.
Yeah, it's the whole thing as well, isn't it? That's when it gets to like an hour. I mean, fuck, like it amazes me how people can deal with like the risk of like losing people during an hour-long special. You know what I mean? You thought you'd lose their fucking interest, but to keep it going, that's a whole thing.
I guess it's but I think it's the same as, like you said, 5 minutes seemed a long time, and then you look at the people doing 15. You go, how the fuck do you do that? I think it's the same. They've built it up over years, and they know once you do get to 45 minutes, I think you've really got to pace. You've really got to know when to go harder and relax, and like you can sort of bounce off the audience a lot more. That's the expertise, I think, as well, of knowing when to, like, you can back off a bit, you can chill, you don't have to be joke. Some comics are like that, like Mark Norman, but most aren't. Most are quite chatty.
I think even Mark Norman, like if you watch his specials, it'll be like there'll be like zingers, and then there'll be jokes that are like not as hard hitting, and it'll still have like what's the word, like peaks and troughs. Not like that the troughs are bad things, but like you have to give the audience time to breathe almost.
Yeah.
And for sure he delivers it as well. Sometimes setups will be a lot longer after like a belter of a joke.
I remember you're right. I remember quite early on, I did an 8-minute set, and it was the first time. And I thought, I've been doing 5s for a while, I can do an 8. And I got to 4. I think said all my material too fast, and then was like, well, I've got to fill 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the best audience either. They were a little bit, chin scratchy anyway. So I was like, well, I'm going to struggle here. I do remember that one does stand out.
That happened to me at I think it was the 3rd gig I ever did. So I did 2 gigs when I went to university, did one that was all right, did one where I died on my ass. And then when I came back from uni, I tried it in Bristol for a bit, and I had 5 minutes of material, and I went on stage, and it was a 10-minute spot, and it just fucking flew by. I came back, I was like, what the fuck did I talk about? I was talking about, like, I used to work at the airport as a security guard, and I just talked about how easy it would be to blow up a plane if you really wanted.
It's exactly what I'd want to talk about as well. I would talk about terrorism. Oh yeah, in reality, airport security was that Bristol Airport.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
If they get a little bit busy, they just turn security off. I think they're like, just go through. Just come on, just get everyone through.
I mean, it's 4 in the fucking morning. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's particularly mean about airport security is that, like, the peak time is when everyone else is fucking going on holiday, and you work there, and you're not even earning enough to go on fucking holiday. And even if you did, you wouldn't be allowed to go on holiday.
Yeah, because everyone's having a nice time, and also everyone's kind of stressed as well because they go to an airport.
Yeah,
so they might exactly. Be a bit rude or rushed and all that as well. So it's I'd really struggle to work at an airport, I think.
Yeah, I had some mad shit happen there. I remember, so we used to work on the X-ray scanners, and one time my mate was working on the X-ray scanner. He pulled this bag, and I searched for it, and he'd only pulled it because it did have a dildo in it. It was funny.
It's funny. Remember when they first brought those X-rays out, like Heathrow, and they realised that to reduce the level of it because they were catching staff perving. They were like, they could looking at you can kind of see like through the clothes a bit or through the skin. You can like turn it up or down. So they were looking at women just like this, basically. Look at that.
Sinners.
You're gonna get that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. When I worked there, you still had to pat people down. Right. Yeah.
But they still, a lot of places still don't have those, and they have the sniffers more than the scanner. So you put on the thing and it just checks for explosives or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Well. Yeah.
I've had a couple of pat downs where you get the back of the hand on your balls. Like,
yeah. I remember when I worked there, this guy who was like the head of the security, but he goes, "Come on, George, you really got to get your hand in the groin." I'm like, "Oh, that's fucking rank." I'm like, it's not a good job, man. I always used to think like, and I still do, to be honest. If I would, how many people can you fit on a fucking like jumbo jet? Like, good couple of hundred, right?
Yeah, some of them more. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you really wanted to like take over a plane, I don't know how hard it is to book like 30 people onto the same flight.
Oh, okay, like crowd it. Go as a
gang. Yeah.
It'd be quite easy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if I want to go into detail while we broadcast.
We're not advocating it. We're not advocating it.
But like, surely that's the worst thing that could happen, I'd have thought. Like,
well, 9/11, there were like two of them, you know?
Yeah.
Because people were so like freaked out and they did it so well. I know since then all cockpits have changed like that as well. But yeah, you could do some damage with a couple of you if you're connected.
Yeah.
Like you're not allowed a knife, but you can take a pen. You can stick a pen in someone's throat, can't you? Like,
what happens if you just start fucking like taking eyeballs and the plane? All right, maybe you can't get into the cabin. Maybe the cockpit. Maybe the plane fucking lands. But do you know what? It's a big tube with a bunch of blind people on it. That'd be bad.
Yeah, and most flights, 99% of people will be compliant or they'll be scared. You'll get a couple now that I think would rush.
I'd rush anyone who tried to take my eyes.
I would, and I think if anyone caused a scene, I think I would like to be able to rugby tackle someone on the plane as well. I think it might be fun. I'd have a go. But yeah, no, I think probably there was a guy in the US a couple of years ago that stole. He was one of the ground crew doing all the waving in. Well, I don't know the technical terms, all with paddles and stuff.
Wavy Davy.
And he stole a plane. He got into a plane and just took off. He learned on a simulator at home.
I remember that. Yeah.
He just got in and went.
Yeah.
Had no one on it, and he was doing like loops and barrel rolls. And when they're traffic control, he's like, "Look, I don't know how to land it." And they were like, "We'll talk you down." And he said, "Do you know what? I don't think so. I've had enough."
Yeah.
And he just stacked it into an island. I think it was off of Chicago somewhere. He was like,
bold.
"I'm just going down."
Bold move. Bold.
I mean, it's a way to do it, isn't it? It's spectacular. You're not hurting anyone else.
Yeah.
It's not
true.
There were a couple of French pilot. There was a French pilot, wasn't there, that flew everyone into the Alps because he was depressed. He just went into
he put all the people in as well, though, didn't he? Like, that is. Imagine the funeral, because like you have to have a funeral, right? Who's going to that pilot's fucking funeral? There'd be like people protesting at like Westboro Baptist Church, but instead of like, God, it's fine, just be like, you're a cunt.
It's not cool. It's not cool. On your own, all you're doing is costing like BA or whatever, American Airlines, a couple of $1 million and stacking it into it. That's for all the bottles of water you charged me £4 for. I didn't shoplift this time. Normally, and I'll say it publicly, normally I steal from airports when I go, even like a magazine or a bottle of water, just because how much as soon as you go in, they start raping you as soon as you walk in the door. It's like, oh, everything now is £10.
Yeah.
Burgers, £20.
I used to.
At WH Smith, you just go on the scanner, and you just keep something under your arm and walk out. They're too busy. No one's looking in those. There's thousands of people going through there at a time. And if they catch you, you can say, "Oh, I'm tired from traveling," and then you go obviously to retarded after that. It's just like, where's my mum? You get away with it.
I hate flying. I fully hate it. Like, the latest thing is these fucking horrid smoking rooms. I know they've probably been there for a long, long time, but I never fucking fly.
Oh,
Like,
again, no names. But we saw someone post about doing stand.
oh yeah.
I'm going to get up and entertain everyone that's trying to chain smoke 20 fags before a transatlantic flight.
Oh
God, comedians are the worst.
In it. I mean, I know you're not allowed nail scissors in a fucking airport, but you should be allowed them in case someone fucking gets up and starts doing impromptu stand-up in the smoking lounge so that you can cut their fucking face off. Honestly,
we're all the worst though. There's someone in Edinburgh that he was having a bad time. He's put a lot of shows, and he's got some mental health issues. He's quite public about it. He was having a bad time, so I checked in one day. I said, "Let me know if you want to get a coffee or whatnot." And then he goes, "Oh, cheers." And then he advertised that there was a spare spot going, so I messaged him again, got any spots. And then if I looked at the message, it was like, thinking about not killing myself, but I'm having a real bad time. Are you okay? And then the next line is got any spots. And I said under that, it's like, comedians are the absolute fucking worst, man. and another one, I know his mum's had a couple of strokes or something, and he's posting quite detailed about that as well. He posted a picture of him in a room with her in hospital, so I just commented, "Who books this?"
Amazing.
that was a funny thing too, because we are the worst. It's like, who books this one? I was like a little rat in Edinburgh. Who's booking this?
Yeah. I think when I went, I felt a bit ratty as well because I wasn't putting a show on. I was just sort of grubbing for. But what
I realized this time, there are tons of people doing that, and there are tons of people putting on group shows.
I think that's the trick as well. The trick is to like take up a show, and maybe it's like you and another person or whatever sharing the hour, whatever. But the trick of like making actual money, I think, is to take up showcases as well, and then enjoy that bucket collection. They pay people if you can.
And they were doing well. Most people were good that I saw. There was the audiences were really good this year.
Yeah,
most people were being pretty generous, I think. So yeah, I don't know what people going to go up and down over the month. People aren't going to make their money back because it's so expensive. But you might, you can probably eat for free, and if you're not extravagant, do you know what I mean? Not going out for meals every night, just eat pasty. Do you know what I mean? You can get a bit of beer money, get a bit of pasta money, help with the accommodation, and that. So I don't think, well, I think some people had a real bad time, but that's probably, either they didn't promote it well or they were just shit and they shouldn't have been in Edinburgh for a month.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. When I went in 2019, one of the funniest shows I saw was called Dougie Memes. I've tried to find the guy who put it on, and like God knows what his real name is, but it was a character act, and it was fucking hilarious. There's only me and two other people in the audience for that show, and the guy did it like it was a full room. You know what I mean? He didn't address how weird it was, and it was sick. So.
Yeah, I was just trying to look up, but it just comes up with memes.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really hard to find. Like, maybe if I went through the program, I'd find him, obviously. But
find the old website.
I've probably got it somewhere. I've probably got the program.
Yeah.
But that's part of it, I think. The pressure of like, if you're really doing it, you're putting a show on. There might be a fucking reviewer. You don't know. There might only be two people in the fucking audience. One of them might be writing stuff about you afterwards.
Yeah,
there's a lot of pressure.
There is, but I think I'd remove myself from. I might even say no reviewers.
Yeah.
Don't come in. Yeah. I don't want to be in the Scotsman. Yeah, I know it's trendy and everything, but I don't care. And especially if someone's going to be negative, God, this is gross or whatever. I'll be like, But there's a comic called Eleanor Morton. I follow her on Twitter. She does a lot of videos. She's quite big. She did a month out there. I haven't seen the stand-up yet, but she was saying the other day, like, maybe there shouldn't be any review. It's what the Fringes turned into. Everyone's going up there trying to get a review, and they're going, this is going to be the year. And you should probably do it just to try and be better and get better. And then if someone reviews it, it's good. But if that's your intention, I'm just going to get the reviewers in.
Yeah. That's what it used to be, isn't it? That's what I said earlier. That's what it used to be. You'd go up with your ideas of a show, and the beauty of it was that it didn't back in the day, obviously, you know, it didn't cost too much. It was all alternative, and you could work on your ideas for a month solid, and at the end of it, you'd have something really quite good. And now it's more like a trade show rather than some sort of testing ground.
Yeah, there's too many. I think there's too many people that aren't ready to do a month. And it's it's like, why do you feel the need to do it? Because different people at different levels can use it. Because Ari Shafir, what he was doing before COVID was every 2 years he'd go to Edinburgh, he'd work his stuff out in the States, and then he'd come and do 28 nights of an hour, and then 2 months later film a special. He's like, now I've tightened it up globally. Edinburgh's great for that. He's ready for it. He'll film it, and then he'll put that to bed. But so you can use it for that. You didn't have to be that big even. It's just like, have you got something you've been working on? Like you said, tighten it up, and then the year after that, you can try and get into some little theatres and clubs.
You seen the Hannibal Buress special in Edinburgh?
I don't think I've seen that one. I've probably got it on my
list. It's good. That's worth a watch. Because he's doing like the same set and like finessing it, and you see him sort of doing the same material, but like obviously it's different nights because it's different clothes and different audience. It's a really, really good fucking sort of.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of. I'll make a note of that. Buress, Edinburgh. I've seen a couple of comics that have done that. They filmed it over a year, even sometimes, and they've gone, "This is me on my global tour. I'm going to put a minute from each city or whatever."
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah,
I think that's another way of doing it. And if it's good, it's good, because to break the fucking wizardry, most specials are shot twice, 3 times, or 4 times. Now, what I've heard is that a lot of people use most of one show, and then they might take a bit from another show, or like, and then you have to mess with the laughter track sometimes, because it's doesn't quite fit in, so you've got to take this laugh, so it's not always exactly real. You can make it as a good, but it's still, I think that's fine. You're making a piece of TV really, rather than
it's constructed. It's all constructed, and also like as soon as you're filming, you're probably behaving differently. So like if you're filming, you're probably doing less crowd work, and
especially,
you know what I mean.
Imagine the first time you film something, it must be all you're thinking about is these fucking like the pressure of that. But someone like Burr, when I saw Bill Burr do his Paper Tiger thing in London, I think it was 99% as I saw it. It was one night, because I could tell, because someone heckled him and they left it in at the Albert Hall. Why would you heckle it? You know he's filming it. And it was some misunderstanding of a bit as well. He's making obviously jokes about relationships with women and stuff, as he does. And some foreign, like Spanish guy or whatever, in the middle of the Albert Hall went, "Ask for consent." Like seriously. And he stopped, like he goes, "I'm at the fucking Albert Hall. I'm filming a special." Why? He goes, "You are the problem. This is why comedians are getting in trouble, because I say something, it goes through your stupid fucking head. It comes out your mouth." I wasn't even talking about that. And he just got railed in front of the entire Albert Hall. So like, why would you do that anyway? Because you're going to get done.
Yeah. That's, oh man. Like, I think that's going to be a whole wave of that. Like I said, like that clip of Matey threatening to stab Jeremiah, that was quite an old clip. But like, I think this Will Smith thing, that's the echo that allows people want to go and heckle. I heard that someone went to a show in Bristol, and it was Buffoon, dear old lovely Buffoon, and there was some guy there who's just there specifically to heckle all night long. So hopefully he's there again.
He should have been turfed out halfway through. It's bad management of the night as well. I know we know who runs that, but it's the venue, the comics have got to just say, get out.
Yeah, there comes a point in there.
If that's what you're doing the whole night. I mean, I've had it a couple of times, and sometimes I've panicked, but yeah, it's just, why do people think they can just say things like "no" or "next joke"? Like, nah.
Yeah.
It does make I don't know. It hasn't really happened for a while. I've just had like silence, or someone like that. I've not had it for a while where someone said something, because I want to take my glass and smash it over the fucking head. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm thinking about as I'm looking at it. Why would you?
Some places, obviously, it doesn't happen too much in Bristol. It's quite a lovely place, but like some places, a rowdy crowd will just be like that. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it's fine. I've been in places like on the south coast where you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
you know what it is. It's people.
Yeah,
it's people who think this is what it is. The whole place, and nothing you can do, and you've just got to kind of lean into it. Well, normally in those places, I'll go up quite aggressive. I'll go up at the start and just call them animals. Just ask at which point when they're going to stab me. Is it while I'm doing it or afterwards? And just try and soften them up a bit that way.
That South Coast scene is wild.
it's a tough one. There are some good comics down there. There are some good nights now, but a lot of them are in the main room of pubs, and some of those pubs are rough, man.
Yeah. There's no two ways about it. That is true.
I mean, I've seen a girl knock out a girl after a gig. I sent you a picture, didn't I? It was about a year ago.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Just the barmaid. That wasn't the barmaid. The barmaid was picking her up, and she was just like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, I saw the first 20-minute set that I ever did was on the South Coast, and it was after lockdown, so I was not really prepared, perhaps. But there was this girl who was so fucking leery and rowdy. She'd ruined the whole night for most people. When I went up at the end, fucking, I mean, I if I was running the night, I wouldn't have let her back in, or her boyfriend. But her boyfriend got carried out bodily by friends of the bloke who was running the night. They were big blokes, and they fucking picked him up and carried him out on their like above their shoulders. Just dragged him out. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I want to. They're okay, but I'm really going to try and just do better rooms now. I know it's not always possible. And sometimes you take something, you don't know what it is till you get there. It's like, oh, this one of these. Yeah. I'm just trying to increase the percentage from, 15% to 35% of rooms that are actually quite nice.
Yeah,
it's probably higher than that, but I found London as a whole I don't like. I've not really explored, but there's so many bringers and stuff. But I found one little organisation that's okay. It's a ball late to get started with them. You've got to send, just send a picture and follow rules and all this stuff, and you got to book it a month out or whatever it is. But there are dropouts and stuff, and you'll only get a 5 at first. But they do film it, and it's handy.
I mean, yeah, that's sick. I need to get something filmed. And
they're in they're quite good setups as well. Like even if it's in the basement of a pub, it kind of looks more professional.
Yeah, if it looks, yeah.
They get audiences, to be fair, and because I'm outside the M25, I don't have to bring a bringer.
Nice. Okay, that's good.
They're like, if you're too far. I remember Jack going over there from not this place, I think, but from Bristol. Got there, and went, "Can I just come in? I've come from Bristol," and they went, "No." Honestly. Yeah, I would go mental. I probably would just go on Twitter immediately and like blast these.
Yeah, that is shitty.
If I not that I ever would run a bringer night, but if I was and there was someone that turned, I'd go you can have 5, but next time try and bring someone or whatever.
I don't understand
that rule though about if you're outside the M25, don't bring one. I think that's fairer.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, no, that's good. I just don't understand why bringer nights are a thing at all, really. Like,
you shouldn't need it in a big city. You shouldn't need it in. I'm sure they have them in New York as well, but I think you don't need them. There's too much footfall. There's tons of universities. There's millions of people there.
Yeah.
Promote it and get people in your fucking room.
Yeah, literally.
But this organisation or whatever have got 4 or 5 venues, and they run 5 or 6 nights a week, and they do different kind of nights and all that kind of stuff.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I'm doing one at the end of this month. It got moved because they're refurbing one of the club rooms, and it was all right before, so apparently it's going to be even nicer. So if I do that once a month for a bit, more often if I can, and then try and get a longer spot out of them, basically, because I think if they see you coming back, they're like, yeah, you can now you're ordained to do 8 minutes.
Yeah. Oh wow, it's quite the okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's not just that, but when you don't know, I might just like, I'll just take anything for now, but then I don't really want to be doing 5 minutes. So
yeah,
you know.
yeah. 5 minutes is quite. I did a gong show the other day, and I found myself not like struggling, but I really had to have a little think about what I was going to do for a set that was 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
There is actually a benefit to it because I did have to cut. Obviously, you think just cut it in half, but it's not quite that as well. You've got to but it benefited me because I kind of got one that I could hit quite well. Got a good video out of it, and a couple of the spots in Edinburgh were 5s as well because they were so busy. So I was like, now I've got that thing that I can use for 5s.
Yeah,
and the 10s now I can chill more. So it is kind of good to have a strong 5, I think, as well.
No, of course it is. Yeah. That's what I mean. I found myself really having to sort of think about what I was going to do for it. I guess you can, with 10, you can just sort of like know that you're going to have places to go almost.
Yeah, but taking the 3 months off was weird. I'm not going to moan about it, but it was weird. It's just like, I think I've got to get back into it a little bit. But I think after the next month, I'll be fine. I've got stuff booked, so I need to get a couple more in.
Yeah.
And then get back into it. And then, try and get that second 10 soon.
Yeah.
And then I did a couple of 15s at the beginning of the year. One, because not enough comics turned up. So I was like, do you want to do a bit longer? And then another night, I think they just keep going.
Yeah,
Which was fine. One of them was a struggle. One of them was fine. There was more crowd stuff, I think, as well, because there were such dicks.
That's
that
like
helped.
It like crowd work can really fill it out, can't it? It can make it 10 sort of become a bit more significant.
I mean, like the drunken heckle, I think it was a good fun 10, 12 minutes because it was like 7 minutes really, but sometimes just let you go on, and if there's good heckles, that's 2 or 3 minutes. Back and forth. And
yeah.
No, I really did enjoy. And David's a nice guy. He was doing bucket splits and seemed alright. So hopefully, if I'm up there next year, I'll try and do that show.
Yeah. No, I would definitely sign up to do that one anytime I was up there. It was belter.
Because it's midnight as well. I think everyone's in a different kind of mood as well. You can those later shows. Like the guys I was staying with, their shows were at 5 and 6, and then they were done.
Yeah.
And then back at the flat, and I was like, it doesn't feel, if it's light outside, and you can see the sun from outside, it doesn't feel. I don't know. It just makes me feel a bit different. You'd be a bit more of a vampire, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely like the late nightness of it. That's how you expect to sort of see comedy, isn't it? You don't want to see it necessarily at 11 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah, there are some people doing hours at 12:30 lunchtime, and I was like, oh, no, not for me. If I ever did an hour down the line, it wouldn't be at fucking lunchtime. I'm not being a daytime comic.
Yeah.
I'll do it at 6 if you can find me a dark basement.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's part of it as well with Edinburgh, isn't it? Like, do you just take what you're given, or
I don't know. So this was really useful because I was really paid attention to the venues, and I was like, oh, okay, I can kind of see. I mean, out of the 10 venues or so, I could see that 2 or 3 of them would be okay to do something in.
Yeah.
And attainable, I think, as well, because some of them are more difficult than others to get. But I think it's literally you speak to the venue and go, this is what I want to do. By then, you probably got to have like an idea for a show or a poster or something. So this is what I want to do. What slots have you got? And then you try and get a good time, whatever a good time is.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you got to do that to 4 or 5 places because they're busy.
Yeah.
Someone might drop out, a venue might come available. Yeah, I think that's probably a stressful side of it, like just that finding a place, the admin. Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, in theory, the one good thing is they set up the night, so all the mics and PAs they're set up by the Fringe Society, so that you shouldn't have too many troubles.
Have
But
to
then you're going to get
wow.
last minute cable breaks and all that, and it's like you can message them, but is someone going to get to your venue in time?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
have you got to go out and buy one? Should you, I guess, bring your own spares as well? Like certainly mics and cables.
Yeah.
And then if the PA's gone, then you just got.
I mean, that's on the venue. Presumably they saw that.
Yeah, I think you can put stuff in the fringe group as well, in the performance group, and someone will probably come.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's a whole community that's fucking doing the same thing. So there's I can see there's a lot of backup when you do it. But yeah,
so
fuck, man.
It was good. It was good seeing the venues. It was good, and it did feel, for the most part, as cynical as I am, it was quite nice to see some people like. There was plenty of people I bumped into that I don't know their fucking name, but I've gigged with them somewhere, and I know you.
Yeah,
like, you've done my gig. I was like, did I?
yeah.
But just bumping into people's weird. Like the amount of people I guess after like 4 years or whatnot. It's like,
yeah.
I ignored some people as well.
Did a what?
I ignored some people that looked someone in the eye and just moved away. Like I did do that. Me and Dave did it together. Actually, I might have told you, but it wasn't even intentional. We were just knackered and waiting to go into a venue.
Oh yeah, you did say about this.
And someone's being a bit wavy, and we were like, it looked worse than it was, but we didn't mean it that way. But the consequence was that person got ignored.
That is pretty funny. Yeah,
it's more that I was just sweating and trying to calm down and finish a pint before going into a room.
I like the idea of like the smaller fucking fringes that are popping up. I think that's really good. Like I can see what people will probably do is these smaller fucking festivals, and then once you've got something that's rock fucking solid, then you might take it up to Edinburgh. You know what I mean? Not necessarily for a month.
The same notebook page that I sent you. So it's Faversham, which is October. So we probably missed that boat, but I've got the name. Barnstable, free accommodation. That's June. So I imagine applications are like January.
Yeah.
Guildford's. Morecambe, Stroud is in September, so that's possibly doable.
Stroud is interesting, yeah.
Durham, but I don't know when that is. That's way up as well. It's by Newcastle.
Yeah, a bit posh. They're a bit hoity-toity there.
Camden in June, July. Wandsworth in May, which is also London. And then Ludlow and Ventnor. That sounds like the Isle of Wight to me.
What was
Ventnor,
it?
Maybe.
Ventnor. I don't know where that is.
Ventnor's either Devon or the Isle of Wight, I think.
Sounds elvish.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up now. It's annoying me. I've probably been there as a kid.
Ventnor.
Isle of Wight.
Isle of Wight.
I guess. I mean, it's kind of. it is a backward place. Like, let's not beat around the bush. It is in the 70s still, but it might be fun. I don't know.
Might be interesting. Yeah, might be interesting.
Online, but I reckon those are ones to also look at. I'm really tempted by that Barnstable thing to do something, just because, free accommodation. Let's go on the piss for 3 days. And
yeah, it does sound absolutely sick, that. And also, did you say it was in June?
I think it's June, yeah.
So like, it'd be good weather, even if I can imagine that free accommodation thing gets pounced on big time. Even if that didn't work out, camping is not even unfeasible when it's fucking June, you know?
Mm.
Yeah,
that's true.
Nice.
I'll have a look into it. A bit more. So, I mean, 3 days. Take 6 of you down and do a show and get on the cider for 3 days.
Yeah, I can see that being kind of brain breaking, to be fair, but a good laugh at the same time.
That's the move, because I only heard of like one other one. I know there's one that Eleanor Morton. I think you follow it on Twitter. It's one in Wales, like it's McKelnith, or I don't know.
Oh yeah, McKinlith. Yeah,
McKinlith.
I think that's quite the industry thingy, isn't it?
Well, she was saying that's good in that there isn't. I didn't know it was an industry thing, but I guess people aren't. There isn't like a review culture there, I think, as well.
Yeah,
though
yeah,
I
okay,
guess
that's
maybe there
cool.
is. I don't know. But it's finding those ones where it's a bit more laid back as well. But I do see the value in Edinburgh. I have to say I do. I know some
Yeah.
people just say there's no way I ever want to do it, but I do. I did enjoy this one. I did enjoy. You can sort of see people progress a little bit as well, and I think it is good to do. You don't have to go. You can do 2 weeks. You can do a week.
That's, I think, what's interesting is the number of people who did a smaller run.
It's just finding the venues, because what they don't always want is for people to go and do 4 days, and because they'd rather book out their calendar, right? These venues, but
Of course, yeah.
Those student guys, their stand up ran for 2 weeks, and their improv, yeah, I know, ran for a month. So there's definitely scope for doing stuff for a week or 2 weeks. And even like if it did like a 20-minute thing with another comic, I think a month for the first one is too much, because I think it's too expensive, and I think there's potential for wanting to hang yourself. 28 days. I think
that's the danger.
10 to 14 days, I think is, and I think that's also really beneficial, because you're getting that many gigs in 2 weeks, and if you can get rooms from other spots as well. So I think the amount of time you're doing in a fortnight is what you're going to get in months and months and months for like 10-minute spots.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, man.
And it's up to you to make it. It's up to you then to make it worthwhile. I mean, if you're not prepared and you can't do 20 minutes, then don't go.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. But no, I think it's it's the way.
Having time on the board is something I think it's harder here. Again, looking at America, you get to be able to do 40-minute sets hours a lot earlier. Just because it's more in the culture, you build up to that hour, and you get pretty quickly 2 or 3 years. You've got an hour, and then you can build it on unlimited showcases and stuff. But...
Talking of that, do you see that Dave Chappelle was in Liverpool?
No.
Do you not see that? Dave Chappelle was he did like 2 hours with Jeff Ross at Hot Water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, quite recently, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Who was I talking to? Another young lad from up like Warwick way. No, he's in London actually, but he was all right in that he liked proper comics, and I was like, okay, I can talk to you about Louis CK, and it's all fine. He said Chappelle popped into a night in London as well, like one of the little shows.
Oh yeah.
And just I think he just went on and did 20 minutes. I think he said, like at some random club.
Start up the fucking night at the at that Jamaican food restaurant again. Get them all.
Oh man.
Oh, what was it called? The Rocking Chair. What a night.
Yeah, those were. I mean, listen, it was right opposite where I lived. It was a fine idea, but the venue were never really on board on what a comedy night was.
I think they were good and they were apathetic, right?
Yeah, they didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I could go up and talk about Jeffrey Epstein in front of an 8-year-old.
Yeah, and then they fed well as well. It was incredible.
I forgot about that. So at midnight they'd bring out a big tray of like Jamaican food, and my deal with them was free Red Stripe for the night. That was my deal, and comics got 1 or 2 drinks as well. But it was good for me to do, because it was quite, now I know, and I've seen other people run really good nights, and now I know what to do. But it's what I had.
Yeah, no, it was fine. Like it was fine. Like
audience was a problem.
But there was that time that there was that family there was like just children eating.
That's
like,
the one. That's what, and they left. Well, I said to him, Dennis, there's a child over there. We're going to start. What do you want to do? Do you want me to start later? And he goes, no, just do your thing, Matt. I said, yeah, but I mean, or I'm going to talk about paedophilia in the next 5 minutes, because that's what I'm opening with. And he's like, do your thing. Do your thing. Yeah, all right. And then they got up and left. It's like 2 tables left. They were all together.
Is that walk in the room?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But then I was stressed and upset the whole night, so I got more drunk whilst hosting. And then at the end, I was trying to apologise. He said, no, they weren't offended at all. It's just that they thought, oh yeah, we should get the kids out of it, and 17 of them were all together, so they just left. I was like,
Oh, I mean, bless him for not being sort of visibly irate that nearly 20 customers left.
right, they didn't listen. Something was going on there because they didn't want customers. I said to them, because I looked at the state of their Facebook group, I said, do you want me to help promote your stuff? And they were like, nah. And I'd go in there because it was opposite my flat. I'd go in there after a night out sometimes or whatever, and there'd be one other person in there, and it's just weird. But they did weirdly. They got busy, so they had a lot of music. They had reggae nights, obviously, but they also did a lot of ska stuff. So you get a lot of skinheads in there.
Yeah.
And on a Saturday night, there would be, it would be heaving. However many people you could fit in there, like 100 or whatever it is.
Oh shit!
Round. So they did do nights. Maybe they just wanted to do that, have events, make the money.
That's blatantly what they were doing. They just make their money off their nights.
Yeah,
whatever
the rest of the time, traffic women and sell coke out the back, whatever they were doing. So I got a couple of videos, but I'm not sure whether they're good. When I did a bit of flyering for Bob Walsh, and I was just screaming. I was just saying, every other comedy night in the area will try and traffic you. They maim women. Don't go in this one. There was one night I was doing it with this girl, and I think we got 20 people in, or just from barking out the front. But I thought it's funnier just to, scream nonsense at people. I guess it was an offensive comedy night, so you should try and offend people in the street that walk past as well. That was my thinking.
It feels easier to flyer for a rude blue comedy night than for anything else. You know what I mean? Because you can make jokes and then be like, "That's what you should expect at this show." Whereas if you're doing like something that's family friendly, it's like, "Come to my show."
He got one official complaint as well, which is wild. I mean, the poster is like dirty blue. It's wrong, offensive.
That's amazing. What
complained to them? I don't know. It was a night I wasn't there. I think it was an Irish comic and Bob. So they complained about a few specific jokes. But you get, it's your fault, unfortunately.
Yeah, really. That really is. What do you reckon about that Joey Sadowitz thing?
That's what I was going to say. I think it's on the venue because they booked him. I've never seen him live, but do you know what? I might go and see. I might go and watch just to see if he's still doing it and just to see what it is. I
don't know how enjoyable it would be.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think it might be quite the assault on the senses. But
I'm kind of curious though.
I'm in the same boat. It's
like wanting to eat like a wasabi peanut. I'm not really into wasabi.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, but I do hope he sticks to whatever he was doing and doesn't drop whatever bits he was doing. The complaints were about him getting his knob out, and I don't know whether that's true or not. Apparently, though, he does sometimes, and he gets a fake one out sometimes.
Yeah,
but it's also sick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like he's quite known for it. Like he's gross as fuck, super offensive, like to the point of being like personally offensive, and a really good magician. And I kind of want to see that act. Like that does sound mental, but I don't know how out my way I would go for it, because I think inevitably.
Well, he's doing a UK tour right now, and I'm sure he's doing better on
exactly.
Tickets,
so. If he comes down this way, I will certainly get there. But if you go out your way too much for it, you'll probably be a bit disappointed, I imagine. You know what I mean? What a night out! I went out and I was told to fuck off multiple times. Like, but there's definitely a time and a place for it, and it is definitely on the venue for them to fucking have known what they were doing, like know what you're booking.
So he's just done a note. He's just done a note on his website about it. Like, can you carry on?
I was going to say, and like at the Fringe, there's multiple performances that have like nudity in them, either as like part of the, like, what's it called? Puppetry of the penis, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? What's this?
This is Sadowitz's website. I quite like it. So his advert is, it only took 61 years and adverse publicity. Come along and watch hundreds of casually curious newbies walk out, complain, and have heart attacks because they've never heard shouting, anger, swearing, and ideas exposed on the BBC before. And yes, I will get my dick out. I mean, he's doubling down. Margate's cancelled. I knew some venues would do this. But you know what? I'm looking at this list. I'm glad like the Glees kept him on. Some of these might give up the pressure nearer the time.
Yeah.
Like, because honestly, yeah, I mean, some of these clubs just give into it, but you know, I'm probably going to go and catch it because he's getting around, and I just want to see. I just want to see.
No, I just want to see it. Like, I won't lie.
But it's all on the venue and the audience. That's their fault. He promoted it, and apparently in the promotion video, he said he's going to do it again. It's on his website now, so if you book him now and get upset, you can't.
And it's a show called Not For Anyone as well. I mean,
and by all accounts,
I went to a show called Not For Anyone, and it was very provocative. Like,
I mean, he's in one of the biggest venues at Edinburgh. The tickets are probably like 45 quid for that venue.
Yeah,
people are paying to go. Most people know. Mm-hmm. So probably a couple of Chinese tourists went there, a couple of students went in there, or some staff were like working, and they were like, "Oh my god, fair. You shouldn't really." But be aware, even if you're working at a comedy venue, you know there's a chance of something you might not like.
Yeah.
You might not necessarily expect a penis, but you should maybe look into it. Or the venue again, it's all on the venue. Tell the staff, go, look, we've got someone coming in. He's a bit mad.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't want to work, we'll get someone else in, or I don't know. There should be a way of managing it. But I don't think that, you know, he's going to be fine. He's on a national tour. He's charging good money. I mean,
yeah, he's done well out of it. If anything, like
publicity is good. Probably he'll lose a few gigs, but he's But I think it's all on the venue, and the debate on whether or not he should be getting his knob out on stage is a different one. But like you said, there's plenty of performance art cunts that are out going, look at the form or whatever.
That is the word for him. That is the right word.
Yeah, I couldn't think of another word.
Yeah, no, that's appropriate as fuck. Like, they are cunts.
Yeah.
But, no, it's fascinating that. Like, I will certainly catch him. Cardiff, I saw on that list. That would probably be the one for me. Right.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I mean, I can get into London. I can get into Cardiff for there. Yeah, Cardiff Glee. So.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I mean, I know those guys that run the Glee in Cardiff. Very lovely. Again, but a little bit, a little bit like that wasn't appropriate. Not to the comics, maybe, but they'll talk amongst themselves. And it's like, how can you be running comedy clubs and that's your? I don't know. But as I said, they're great people. They've let me in for free loads of times. I've had plenty of after show parties. A headlining comedian gave me drugs there.
Boom.
So I can't remember his name though, so there's no scandal. I don't know what his name is. I was working behind the bar, and he invited all the staff in and gave them lots of drugs. And then I was sick in a sink at like 7 a.m. on New Year's Day and went home.
Nice. Okay, that's perfect. I feel like with a bit of research, it could be worked out what comedian this was.
Well, I did go back on their website, but it's not up there. So that far back, it would have been like New Year's Eve 2016 or something like that.
Oh, right. Okay, let's go back a bit.
Yeah. It was definitely one of those fun unexpected nights when you're at work and somebody's offering you lots of alcohol. Well, to be fair, they also let us drink after 9 o'clock behind the bar. So you could, when it hit 9, you could just start drinking. Just
free for all, yeah. I used to quite enjoy working at a bar.
Yeah, so I went. This was a bit of desperation years later, but I've worked in a lot of bars, and I've always been good, and I've always enjoyed it. But here, if you mispoured, that was yours, right? See, if you thought you might get thirsty, you could go, I did double rum and coke instead of double vodka, and that goes under the desk or whatever. A lot of women that went into these clubs would buy like 8 bottles of Prosecco and not drink 4 of them.
Yeah.
So you would literally legal minesweeper would put those out the back, and as soon as it hit 9 or 11, you bring all that shit out. And after the gigs, when everything's closed, the staff had a party till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
I used to work at the town hall when I was a student in Cheltenham, and they'd have a lot of corporate events and sometimes comedy gigs. I remember Jimmy Carr did a gig there one time, Obviously, I didn't get to see it. I could hear it, but I didn't get to see it because I was working on the fucking bar. Yeah. But I used to wear a special coat when I went to work at the town hall as a student, because I had a special coat that had like big pockets that you could get a whole bottle of wine into and like not worry about it spilling, because the corks would be taken out of them when they went on the table. People would touch them. So I used to get them, clear them up, and like have a stack. I used to have a pocket on the inside that could put. I used to be able to carry like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I did. Not there, but when I was younger, I had a coat and I cut the lining out, so I could drop like 8 beers into the lining of the coat. So you nice. Go into like Reading Festival with beers all around you, and they would check your pockets and stuff and pat you. And I used to distract them by pretending to play fight them, go, hey, go in, mate. And then I've just got, I've snuck 8 warm beers in, and I've had a great time.
Oh, festivals are so gross.
Yeah,
so gross.
Yeah, warm overpriced food, warm beers. Yeah, because you're in a tent, and if it's summertime, which all the festivals are, the crate of cider's been in the sun for fucking 8 hours.
Smelly, dusty, gross.
And on the final night, you've got to worry about having your tent set fire to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Reading got bad. I think I went a few times, and every other year on the Sunday, they would tear down all the lighting from the fields by shaking the poles, like for a mile.
Yeah.
And then you would just walk past burning tents or burning portaloos was the worst one.
Oh my God.
And they would just tip a portaloo over. Some people get them tipped over when they're having a shit in there as well. So
that's fucking rank.
Yeah, it's not good. Someone fell in the septic tank as well.
Oh.
There was another group of toilets that I camped near, but it was just shit in a hole, and it's got 20 toilets. And then someone fell through the toilet into the septic tank.
Oh, yeah. I remember going to Wacken, which is a death metal festival in Germany, and it's on farmland, but like they've got like ditches to separate a lot of the fields, like the Somerset Levels, and people are just pissing into these ditches left, right, and centre, because it's very beer oriented. There wasn't much drugs, and I mean, fucking hell, I couldn't find any drugs, but there was so much beer, it was outrageous. And on the last day, fucking like, bear in mind, people have been pissing in these ditches all weekend, and there was people swimming in it. It was fucking revolting. Yeah, it was amazing, really.
People just turned to animals pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was remarkable.
We Victorious in Portsmouth, we used to sneak Capri Suns full of rum in. We'd decant rum into Capri Suns, and then we were with girls as well, so we'd get them to put the Capri Suns in their bra and in their pants and stuff. Because then the security are less in.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So we made them go in, but also we'd have one. But those metal detectors didn't even work on the foil, so we were worried about that. But then you've got like a gallon of rum spread out in Capri Suns.
Yeah.
So all you've got to do is buy Coke from the ice cream van, which is admittedly like £3 a can, but you're still saving quite a lot of money and getting wankered.
I remember going to the Thekla in Bristol, right? And the boat, and I had like a hip flask that I'd just been given. And I filled it up with like gin or whatever the fuck, who cares? And I went into the Thekla, and the security guards like pat me down and like took it, and they were like, "Oh no, look, you can't take this in, mate. You can have it back at the end." And like, fair play, he did give it back to me at the end. But my mate had gone in with a whole like a big bottle of Vladimir vodka down his fucking trousers, and they just let him get on with that. I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah.
Vladimir, I remember those days.
Brutal. It's tough stuff.
There was one round here that I used to buy called Prince Consort or something as well, and it was like it was £6 for a half bottle or whatever it was. And yeah, when you're poor, that's in your coat pocket in the pub.
In it. What's it? Glen's the exciting vodka.
I can't do it. I mean, I was around yours, and I think Jack Lloyd, I'll name him. He brought round some booze, and it was one of them. It was one of those cheap. And I took a swig of it, and I remember just thinking, "That's it. That's just finished me off."
Yeah, like spirits. The older I get, the more I understand why people spend money on spirits.
Get a better one.
Yeah.
Like if I drink bourbon, I get Buffalo Trace, and to be fair, you can get it for like £22 for a bottle. Yeah. It's not bad, but it's nice. It's smooth.
What do you reckon about Brita filters though? you ever tried that?
No.
I want to try it one day. Like, so you get the Brita filter and you run your fucking shit piss vodka through the Brita, and it should make it more acceptable.
I never even thought of it.
Yeah, I've read about it. I don't know. It might be bullshit. You know, it might be some mum's net toss, but like,
well, it's got to be taking something out of it. But I don't know
yeah,
what.
you'd have thought, right?
Just is it taking the good stuff? I don't know.
No, surely the.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll look into that
Yeah.
as well. Not that I really want to buy a bottle. It might be fun to do. See what happens.
Yeah,
bottle of Vladivar through a Brita filter.
Pruno.
I'm at the classy end of being a scumbag. You don't even have a Brita filter for your Vladivar. So what time's in jokes tonight? Is that 8 o'clock? Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Quite looking forward to that. Love a bit of in jokes.
Are they still doing that? Are they doing that upstairs or outside? Or
I think it's still upstairs. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Did it once when it was under a former regime and the former regime didn't turn up?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the former regime was often there in body, but not mind. Like I've seen it. I remember one of the first times I went, and someone else had to take over hosting because the guy just couldn't handle his shit.
Yeah, never really had too much to do with him. But we whoever was there, I can't remember now. We just put on our own comedy night in the room, which is a bit cheeky in a way, but also fuck it.
Yeah.
We're like, the host hasn't turned up. We're gonna do a PA free comedy show, and we'll round up people from the bar. And it ended up being a fun night, but mainly because we stayed upstairs very late and did what we did.
It's a lovely night now, and I tell you what, they're very generous with their drinks policy. You get 3 free drinks as a performer, and that is, I mean, if they paid you the money that 3 drinks would cost you.
In the inn on the green, it's probably at least 12 quid, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, like, you know, it's almost churlish to turn it down. They don't seem to be sort of like, never at any point if they've been like, no, you can only have the like shit piss beer. They'll give you whatever you want.
Yeah, because it doesn't cost the venue anymore to pour you a pint. It really doesn't. Because
it doesn't. Yeah.
And that's what you should be doing. You should be looking after. And I had this conversation with Napo from New York quite a lot. He's a musician as well. But if you're a shit cover band, you're getting 250 to 500 quid from a pub.
Yes.
For a night.
True.
Why do comedians get a sandwich if they're lucky, or a pint? Like what?
Yeah. I mean, it is difficult.
If you're bringing in a room full of people and you're getting nothing or a drink, what's going on?
Yeah, I think part of it, I will say why. Right, part of it is that if it's a comedy show, you're sort of implicitly saying, right, everyone, stop doing what you're doing. No drinks. You're not allowed to go to the bar. You're going to sit and listen to us for 20, 30 minutes, maybe. And then we're going to have a 20-minute break where you can all go and have a drink. Whereas, if it's a band, people are a lot more free-flowing towards the bar.
Yeah.
So there is that. Yeah, there's that tricky thing. But
you're not asking for like the same money as a band, even, right?
No, exactly. You're not.
If you have 20 people in a room, on average, really, you're probably selling 50 to 60 drinks. Now, some of them might be on lemonades or what, but you're still charging 3 quid for a lemonade.
No, yeah, you're helping the venue for sure, and like I think part of it as well is that I won't lie, I think comedy can be variable.
Yeah,
like musicians can sort of hide behind the instrument and play a good fucking song and just keep that going, whereas comedians have to have new jokes and have to have fucking fresh shit. And
I guess it depends. Like, I think there's not necessarily every open mic, right, but there are nights that are better than that do curate it a bit better, that are more often And I know there are venues that do deals with whoever's running it, and they do give them a bit of money or whatnot. But I think there's a bit too much of a disparity. Like I said, you could learn 10 songs, and in 6 months you could earn 900 quid a week in the summer season.
It's difficult. It is difficult with comedy for sure.
I think there's also an attitude problem to it as well, isn't it? It's like just some people talking in that room. It's not really
not really what.
I don't know. Not really like they don't. I think some people don't even appreciate it. For being anything. But
I think I remember I used to do a very shitty job back in the day, and I remember the boss at that job was always a bit mean about me doing stand up. And one thing that I thought was particularly on point and vicious when he goes, George, there's a lot of funny people in the world, and that is sort of true. Like, if the only barrier to stand up is writing some material and getting the fucking confidence to go and do it,
yeah,
then at some level anyone can do it. Whereas if someone's on stage playing acoustic guitar, you've at least
got to learn the guitar, right?
Exactly. There is a level of like something there, and I think what is missing perhaps sometimes is that most people, I think, understand that like comedians work on their craft, and it fucking, you know, what you're seeing, part of the trick is making it seem fresh each night.
Yeah,
because there is a lot of practice, even though you want to churn over new material. But some people just do not fucking value it in the way that as soon as you see an instrument, it's immediately obvious that practice has gone into it.
Yeah, no, that is true. I think it's a bunch of all those things, and I know that there are nights that are better, but I don't know. I think there's just not every night anyway. Like, I mean, like probably 10-15% of nights that are on. There's probably a way to make it a good night that's good for everyone, where you're getting a bit of a deal with the bar. You can give something more to the comics. I don't mean like 500 quid. I mean like give everyone a drink or 2 drinks, and then some of them you can afford to be able to pay a good headline, and you can afford to maybe go, look, there's a bit more money. Do you want a drink or do you want to fight a tenner each, whatever? So at every level they're getting something, and like the headline or the host can take it, whatever. It's just where there's some, not that, you shouldn't do it for money, but at some point there should be some money, because otherwise,
I think as someone who, like, you know, I put on a night, and it's been going on for a little while now, and Dirty Does come along, and it's we're starting to transition to a point where hopefully we can give acts more than free drinks. And that won't be every act, but like, you know, we're hoping to book headliners and openers. And certainly for the opener, what we're hoping to offer is not ever going to be life-changing money, but it's certainly more than 2 free drinks, a free drink.
And it doesn't have to be. I honestly, the first time I got a drink ticket meant the world. Mm-hmm. It's like, you're giving me something.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? But you can't fucking, like, for me, there's like, obviously when you're booking your middle spots, you're basically giving those people a bit of, you're giving them stage time that's sorely needed, and they're benefiting from that, and you're benefiting from obviously having acts to fill your middle section. But let's not fucking...
You give those like a drink or a sat, whatever.
Yeah,
it is, you know?
Because let's not joke about, like, there's a lot of people at that level, and as you look for your opener needs to be a really good act, and you're sort of looking for someone who's only just off headlining, really, and that person, for them, if you do it right, they get a really good gig, and hopefully you get audience come back and say, fuck, he should come back, or she should come back. They should come back. And
the headliner and the opener are then going to talk to other people at their level.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say about the headliner in particular. You would hope that, like, that's where they obviously deserve a fair recompense, because you're sort of using them to advertise the night. And it's a weird sort of like parasitic relationship in some ways, but I do think it's important.
But that's the right way to do it. That's the right way to do it. What
I
you've
think
done
it's
and where it's come from. It went from 12 of us fucking morons in a dark room with no audience.
Yeah.
But having somewhere to go all the time, and then building
that was what was good. Yeah.
Surviving COVID, they refurb it. You get in more of a regular audience. It's such a different room, but it's fucking great. So it's nice to see a proper night, and you've seen where it's gone from and what it is, and it will get better and better. I think anyway, whatever happens.
Yeah, it's funny. Like it's no longer like a place where you can it's not like a new material night. You know what I mean? Like I do sort of miss that. I kind of think I'm gonna have to find a venue to do like a weekly new material one as well.
Yeah, but you've progressed that into something better, so it's like it shouldn't be anymore.
That's true. It is better, undeniably better. But a lot of that's to do with the pub refitting the place. But yeah, new material night is key. But yeah, I do think that like comedy is not valued, rightly or wrongly, and probably rightly. But it's not valued in the way that most other things.
Yeah, in part rightly, because all you need to do is have a mental breakdown and then go, I want to go and do comedy, please, if you let me up. And then it's like, fucking hell.
Yeah. And also there's the thing of consistency. So like a band can consistently do the same songs year on year on year. And if they're bangers, they can just do the same covers.
Yeah.
The comedian has to evolve. You have to be changing. And you have to have more than just
it's different, but I think there's a place for some nights to close the gap a little bit, a little bit, and not like I said, not every night, not a new material night, not an open straight up open night, something that's a bit curated. That's what I would like to do if I did run a night. Though it'd probably start less than that, but get to a point where I'm filming it, I'm getting good audio, putting the effort in to give especially the headliners or the openers good videos and whatnot. And then getting to a point where you can either ticket it or do a deal with the venue, and just having like a really nice, and then people know there's a nice night. Then you got to deal with more people asking to do it, and people that you never want to let on. But whatever, I don't know, hire a Vietnamese girl. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean that's a whole thing in itself, but that's something that really does seem to have had a real knock from lockdowns and pandemics, is just the open mic scene in general. Like we used to turn up at what's that place called? The Lazy Dog. For an open mic after the main event. And it was, if not well attended, one of a few regular open mics in Bristol that were just open mics. And that was super important to me, because quite early on, that's where I went all the time. That's where I met you. That's where I met a lot of guys that I know. And I got given, they could have said, "Can you not come back every week?" But I got to go there quite often. For a year or so, and I enjoyed what it was. There were other problems with that night that I have to talk about, but for that mic 40 minutes or whatever we had, it's a good room, and it was good to fuck around in. And I mean, there is some, like obviously the food is brilliant, but like the sort of that is something that I feel has had a real knock. Those nights are not quite as readily available. Maybe it's that there's more people doing it, so they fill the spots, so you can't sort of just swan up and expect to
I think they should still be, in someone like Bristol where you've got 500 nights, there should still be one or two turn up on the night. They really should. Because you've got obviously the grain bars, but it's a mixed night, so it's not like you've got to go after someone playing the violin, which is fine.
I think that's fine. I think that's how I started doing comedy in Bristol, to be honest. I did these 2 nights as a student, and then a little while later started doing mixed open mic nights in Bristol. And obviously it's difficult, and I didn't sustain it. But when you've got access to actual proper comedy nights as well, and you can go and you can have a good gig.
I'm not knocking by the way, I love the grain bars, and I heard it. I've heard it's back.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I do think it is. Yeah,
I've not been, but I miss that. We used to go down with 5 or 6 of us in there and try and take it over a little bit.
and I mean, he had the solution to. He got involved during lockdown. He was putting on his open air gigs under that big
Breaking
tent,
bread, right? Breaking
and
bread.
that
I did
was
it 4 times, I think.
yeah. It was. That was actually a gig as far as I'm concerned. I got laughs when I went and did it, and it was good. I think I did it a fair few times.
Yeah, although it was a bit difficult at times.
Yeah, it was.
It was also kind of felt better because it was the venue was kind of nice. It was almost like you're at a festival.
Yes, yeah, it did have that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of, and you could go up to the security guard and act.
Yeah,
You do, let me in, you prick.
It was bitterly cold, mind. There was that.
I had some nights where it's nice, and then at 9:30, it would just suddenly turn.
Yeah,
I'm on the moor in Bristol, like just shaking.
Yeah, I regret. But yeah, no, it was. I think Grain Barge might have to be hit up again because that is a fun way to
It's nice.
give people an assault on the senses.
I like doing it at winter time, like a cold November, December night.
Yeah.
Just walking up there, getting a nice beer, going down the little basement.
I tell you what. Speaking of which, I might just grab a nice little beer. But
go on, man.
Yeah, with 2 ticks out, I just got to go to the fridge.
Yeah, so good. Oh, that was a mistake. Meant to mute him. Dean, I don't know if you're still there. How you doing? I did see you. Just we've been yapping like a couple of girls. So good to see you. Good to see you here. Go and retweet the link. We're going to stay a little bit longer. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Here he comes back. There we go.
Refreshment. Sorry.
Nice. What you got, buddy?
I got San Miguel. San Miguel. Yeah, nothing fancy for me.
No, that's a nice summer drink. I had some nice, San Miguel's when I was up in Edinburgh. I like drinking wanky beer, but I still, a good cold lager.
Yeah, I tell you, I am a lager drinker. Really, that is the one for me.
I got into the wank shit during COVID, to be honest.
Yeah, I did. I'm getting into wine, drinking a fair bit of wine as of late.
Red or white?
White white because it's summer, isn't it? Red in winter.
Yeah, I was always just drank white, and then recently I got into red. It gets me a bit more fucked up, I have to say, even if the hangover. Yeah,
we're stronger. Like you get reds at like 13.5, and like whites are normally like 12. And
a bottle of wine and a 4-pack of lager that takes me to a weird place.
Yeah, that's a strong mix. That's a strong mix. I tell you what, I had a weird one the other day, right? So I bought a scratch card, and I won 40 quid on the scratch card. So I was like, yeah, fucking sick. I had a couple of drinks, not really to celebrate winning 40 quid, but like definitely a little bit. Went down the shop to fucking claim it, and I when you sort of like go out in public, you're like, oh fuck, I'm actually a little bit smashed, right? And so I checked myself, went up to the fucking till, and the guy goes, oh yeah, you've won 6 quid, and I was like, well, no, I haven't. I think it's a bit more than that. And he's like, no, it's 6 quid. I was like, no, I think it's 40 quid. And there was like a queue behind me as well. And I was like, oh, fuck. Am I going to be like the guy who's pissed out of his face, shouting at the cashier? Not necessarily shouting.
About a scratch card.
Yeah. And like, he's telling me that, yes, sir, you have won, but not £40. Like, no, I'm pretty fucking sure. And like, yeah, I don't know. I just had to take the money and fucking go with it. Oh, shameful.
It is a shameful thing to do, but I've what was worse than that though? I saw Greg posted a video earlier, and I'll call him out. Greg Winfield turned up for a cruise, and I assumed, did you see this?
Oh yeah.
So I assumed it's not a bit. Turned up for a cruise that he's had booked for the last 18 months that I sure he got on the cheap COVID deal, and he hasn't had his booster jab and can't go to it.
Amazing.
So he just did a video from his car where he's going to try and have a holiday in Bristol.
Yeah, that's so funny. What the fuck? Like, cruise, fucking hell.
But to be honest with you, when it was COVID, I kind of thought about it because no one wanted to go on cruises, and I was like, you can probably get. Not that I really want to go on a cruise, but it might be fun to get one for 250 quid that would normally be £1,000. I don't know.
Yeah. I can see that, but like, I don't know, man. Like, it's a limited space, isn't it? There's only so much fun you can have on a fucking big old boat full of old people.
I'll tell you what, I don't know whether it'd be fun ever or not, but again, looking at the States and stuff, people go not doing a like comedy like a Butlins on a cruise, but going on a cruise where there's just like a lot of comics doing comedy, or like a 2-day, everyone's getting drunk, and you get like, you know, there's 2 or 3 gigs on there, and the comics are getting a bit wild as well. I think there could be a temptation for that if it ever.
Yeah, that could be that. Yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah.
But I mean, all you're doing is drinking and doing gigs on a boat and getting weird. But yeah. Cruises themselves don't appeal to me. Right?
No, it sounds fucking horrible. Like, the thing is, everything on boats is a bit shitter than it is on land. So like,
and you can't escape. If it's shit, you can't get off.
Yeah. Like,
you know, bad weather.
Yeah. No, fuck all of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I guess the grain barge is a bit like a cruise.
That counts. That's literally it's a boat. It's on water.
What's the cider boat called in Bristol? Is that still there? The one that just sells ciders?
The Apple.
Is it the Apple?
I think yeah.
They've got some. They've got some like 10-12%ers in there, I think.
Yeah. What's mad about fucking so I think they sell cider brandy there, and like cider brandy, they make it by you get like a barrel of cider, and then you freeze it, and then you take off the layer of ice, right? Because that's just frozen water. So you keep doing that until it concentrates down. But when you do that, it concentrates the bad alcohol. You know, there's like methanol and ethanol.
Yeah. And
one of them will make you like blind, right?
Yeah.
Pretty right. So this method of like strengthening up your booze by freeze distilling it, fucking gives you at best it gives you the world's worst hangover. It's mad, eh?
Do you know Terry Pratchett, the author? So I'm sure in one of his books they were making something like that. I don't know why I remember about it. I'm sure someone was freezing some outside and peeling.
I recall that.
Pratchett's from around my hometown. He actually came to our school and gave a talk.
Is it? Before sick.
He died. Yeah, he's just a little weirdo, and he lived down the road. But he came and gave us like a 2-hour talk on writing. But it was
that'd be fucking
cool.
Yeah.
I like his books.
I like them. Yeah, he's a clever fucking dude, man.
They're funny. They've always got a good point behind them.
Yeah,
characters are great. And it's kind of probably the origin of Flat Earth as well, so it's all good to me.
Yeah. That's true, actually. Fuck.
Discworld, right? Isn't Discworld on the back of 4 elephants that are then stood on a turtle that's floating?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I fully love that. I think that's such a good fucking...
How do we know, man?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what's weird about it. Like, all of the fucking visual adaptations are all shit.
Yeah, the BBC one. You kind of see them making some kind of effort. I think they had David Jason playing Rincewind a few years ago, like 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I imagined, when I was reading the books, I imagined Rincewind as being like Christopher Lloyd. I don't know. You imagine your own thing. I just imagine him being like Christopher Lloyd, like this old crazy guy that occasionally just tells someone to piss off. I don't know. Those books. And I went through a stage of trying to read them from the beginning. I've never read the later ones, and I thought I'll start at the beginning, but that was 15 years ago, and I read 4 and stopped.
Yeah. I read that.
Although, if they're on Audible, though, I'd do that because I've been getting Audible books recently. Even Stanhope does all his books on Audible as well.
Does he? Oh, that's sick.
So, well, what he does, he writes a book and then records it on Audible and interviews the people that he was writing about in the book. So it's like a podcast, and then they go, "No, actually, that's not what happened. You were hammered. This is what happened."
That's
So
sick.
it's like
That's
a
sick.
different material as well.
So got some tickets to go see him actually in Bath.
I'm going to go and see him in London. I'm seeing him in London. Like
Is it
2 days later? Oh,
nice?
also, I'm going to see Louis.
Are you? Where's that?
In early October. He's in London. There might even still be tickets. Do you know the reason why I didn't ask anyone? And this is like 10 people that I know that I've asked before, and they've said yes, and then I've got tickets, and they said they can't make it. So I'm like, do you know what? I'm just going to get myself a ticket.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. And if people want to come, come, but you won't be sat with me. But it's I'm actually quite close to. I'm 20 minutes away from Wembley, so that's where.
That's fucking sick. That's
in
sick.
the arena. Yeah, do you know what? It's one of them things where I was like, last time he got cancelled when he tried to come here by idiots in Manchester, and then I'm going to go, and I'll have to do a post about it because I've seen several comedians complain, and I was like, well, you would all, by the way, 99% of them, if his manager contacted them, would you like to open for Louis CK at
they
Arena?
bite their own dicks off to do it.
They would do it. They'd have the selfies up.
Yeah.
Out of here. So
yeah, that's true. But yeah, that is brutally true.
But it might be the last time I remember trying, but I might get one opportunity to see Louis. I don't know, So it's like it's not as difficult to get tickets as it was 5 years ago. So he'll still sell out, but it's just like if they're not going like that 5 years ago, everything would go like that.
Yeah, no, I might have to have a look, see if there's any available, mate. Yeah,
have a look. I brought mine 2-3 days ago.
Right. Okay.
And I just thought I'm just going to do it. I'll pay a bit more. I don't even know what it was, but I'll pay a bit more. I think it's good to go and see proper high-end comics, like at least a couple of times a year, because if all you're doing is seeing the best local comics or the best national headline, go and see someone who's doing an international tour that's been at the top of their game for years or is coming to the top of their game.
Yeah,
it's worth seeing. It's worth seeing because
it is. Who have I seen that? I saw Dylan Moran actually. That was great. He was really good.
Yeah, I heard he was going pretty well. I do need to catch him sometime.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Oh.
I'm dreadful for it. I don't see people that frequently actually. Like before that, the last big show that I'd seen was fucking Neil Hamburger in London. That was fucking brilliant. Greg Turkington, but yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. I don't that often, but I mean, I guess I saw seen Bill Burr 3 times, and then Stanhope obviously in 2019, I think, which was.
I've never seen him. I'm so stoked.
By the way, he did the Glee in Cardiff, and it was 300-seater, tiny room for Stanhope.
Yeah.
I knew all the staff, and then he's ordering drinks from the stage. So one of obviously because I know the staff, I got a good seat right by the stage, and they running through the curtain and bringing me like a vodka and tonic. So I punched my friend through the curtain as he's running.
Oh fuck!
It's like Luke, but that was really good, and he did record the special. But I've always, live is just something else as well. It's just you see, it's just different. Yeah, it's different. And he came out. I think he still does it on this tour. He tends to take 30 minutes before, and he'll write stuff about the town he's in, and he'll write might read it. He did a big monologue about Cardiff by the Sea, and it was just I don't even know what he said, but it was 10 minutes of just about his experiences that day in the town.
That's fucking I love that.
And then he did a 90-minute killer show.
I mean, that's the difference between seeing a Netflix special and seeing it live, isn't it? You get whatever it is. Realistically, the Netflix special, even if they did record the 10 minutes before about being in Cardiff, most people don't give a fuck. But the people who live in Cardiff on that night, that's good shit.
It sounds wanky, but it is part of it is about the energy in the room and how people are laughing, and you're kind of in it, and you feel the back and forth and seeing people, the comic react to it. You can't replace that.
Yeah.
So everyone should do it. I mean, I saw Tim Dillon this year. His opener was really good as well. Sam Talent.
Is that the bloke who wrote did he write a book?
Yeah, he wrote a book called Running the Light.
Yes. Yeah. I tried to find that on like Spotify. I thought it might be like an audio book, and then I ended up.
It's on Audible. I know that.
Is it? Oh, right. Okay. Because I ended up just finding a random fucking podcast called "Running the Light" about comedy, run by like two comedians in Oklahoma, I think. Like they live like in the Midwest, and it's a good little podcast. Right.
I've not seen that one. I think because I pay for Audible. I think if you get Audible, I can give you credit. Like I get credits every month that I don't use. I think.
Right.
So
I'm gonna look into it.
I get basically a free book a month. Not that I do it that often, but the good thing about this is you can do other shit. Yeah.
All the Harry Potters.
Running the Light.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I've heard it's very good, and I've heard Stanhope fucking raving about it as well.
Stanhope his stand-up is very good as well. Like he did.
Is it?
I think he did 20. Dylan only did like 45, but he did 20 as an opener, and it was all killer, dark, very dark.
Okay.
Good. He did a lot of UK stuff as well because they've been on tour to like Glasgow and stuff. But it's always funny to hear an American say Glasgow.
Glasgow. I tell you what's that's like Edinburgh. That's got to be rife.
There's I was literally thinking about it. I don't think I'll be able to find it. There was an American someone posted a TikTok on Twitter. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it now, but it was they were literally, it was like, "Hi, I'm here in Edinburgh," and some locals like, "It's Edinburgh, you twat."
I have heard. I've seen that one. Yeah.
I might have even sent it to you, and it's like, and they're like, "Oh," and it's like, "Fuck off."
I have seen that one. Yeah.
Like, oh, welcome to Scotland, guys.
I mean, that's the thing as well. Like the locals in Edinburgh must kind of fucking hate that shit.
You're blocking up the roads. You're blocking up everything. I guess unless if you're running a business, you're making money. But yeah, if you're coming to and from work,
it's a cunt. It'll fuck you off. Yeah.
And the locals, they got character up in Edinburgh, so it's always funny to see that.
Yeah.
I saw some good stuff. I saw some good comedy, but I did get comedied out though. Most of the comedy I saw was at shows. But I did want to see 3 or 4 hours, but you know what? I just got exhausted. And I was like, I can't be fucked. As much as I want to see it, I can't do.
How many days were you up there for?
I went up there for just 3 days, and then when I went back, it was literally a day and a half. Because I didn't actually go to the festival when I went back. I went up to see a friend, but while I was there, I was like, I'm gonna go. I ended up being at the Fringe again for a day.
Yeah.
But I did 2 spots while I was there as well, so I guess I did get twice.
I went up when I went in 2019. When I went up, I saw like 40 shows, and by the end of it, I'd had enough.
Well, I wanted to that year, but I paid for Dan Soda from New York. It's like 15 quid bargain just before he did his special. I saw a few more, but it was also pissing with rain during the day.
Yeah.
So people were filling up venues to get out the rain. So I'd try and get in, there'd be no room. I was like, and because I didn't pay for
none of mine.
That's good.
Yeah, none.
Well, I was walking down the street again to get my bus home after that student show, drinking a beer down the street, and I heard a big "fuck off." So I looked up, and there's a guy that looks like Billy Connolly, a Scottish guy. He's like, "Fuck off," and he's swearing at these 2 girls that are dressed up walking past. And obviously, he said, "Do you want a ticket to my show?" And they'd say, they were rude to him, and he'd just gone, "Fuck off."
Right. Nice.
And I looked at him. I stopped, and I went, "That is fucking amazing. Thank you for that." And we just got chatting. I'd had a few beers, and he was about to do his show. I said I might, and he comped me for his show. He was selling them for like a £5 or whatever. He just gave me a free ticket. He goes, "Come back at 7:30, come in." And I said, "I've got to leave halfway through because I've got to get my bus." He's like, "Fine." But yeah, I went down into the little basement. But he was at the proper Fringe where he had security had
Oh wow,
to leave
yeah.
me downstairs because the show was on, and like everyone's got headpieces as a right to bring him down.
Sick.
So I got in, watched that. It was funny, but the audience were terrible. Apart from 2 Norwegian girls at the front were into it. Everyone else was just giving him crickets. Like, you bitches, man. Come on.
The funniest thing that you said happened. I remember getting that message that you said you just went, "All right, Garofalo." All right, Gruffalo.
Gruffalo.
Ah.
So Jim, who run those nights, he bumped into her and took a selfie with his fucking big lens camera.
Yeah.
Like a week before. But yeah, I was just walking. I was going to a bar to write before a gig. Yeah, so overtook her on the street. And I was like, all right, Gruffalo.
Nice.
I might not have even recognised her had I not have seen that recent photo. I was like,
yeah, yeah. That's I won't lie. It surprised me that you were like aware, because I think Gruffalo's fucking sick, but I don't know if I would recognise her if I saw her on the street today.
Well, I've heard people talk about it a lot, and I've seen her on podcasts and stuff, but I wouldn't have had I not seen that recent photo. And I was like, oh,
yeah, that's fucking sick though. That's very cool. Yeah, man.
Yeah, super nice, and it's nice to see like proper comics, and also they're out enjoying the fringe. They're going to watch shows and hanging out as well.
I think that's sick.
There's not a lot of elitism from real comics. I think the elitism probably comes from people who think they're real comics.
Yeah, I can imagine that some people are really getting swept away with the idea of like, oh, I'm doing a month, you're only doing 20 days. That kind of like toss. But like, among people that are properly fucking comfortably paying their bills from it,
they
probably haven't got time to be bitchy, have they?
There's nothing like that. As shitty as it can be, it's shitty for other reasons. There's nothing like that where a whole city gets taken over for a month.
Yeah.
Anywhere. There's like the festivals in the US are 2, 3, 5 day things, and they're not like that. They're in one venue or then 2 or 3 venues nearby. That's a whole city. It's full of it.
It is. It's the world's biggest. It's there's nothing that can compete.
And without it, we wouldn't have Bushfest.
Oh, mate. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a real belter.
Do you know what? That was the one thing that I was really gutted to miss. I missed it. I couldn't get back.
Oh, what, you missed it? Oh, man. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was away and I was supposed to come back, and it got close to it. I was like, I can't make it. I remember telling Dave, and I was like, I can't. And I've been looking forward to that for a year. And I had a good slot as well. And it was like, fuck,
man. Yeah, I tell you what, flattering. I tell you what, I will say it though. After I did my set, fucking, what's his name? Dave Dinsdale, who does the videos.
Oh yeah.
He comes up and he goes, "Oh George, I want a word with you," and you know what I mean. And I was like, "Oh, all right, there," because I was literally just going to my seat after doing the set. You know what I mean? And you sort of think like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" And then he came up to me just before me and Kate had shot off, and he goes, "Oh, can we put that joke in as like one of the jokes in the video?" I was like, "Yes." Very flattering. Very flattering. I'm very happy with that. It's nice.
It is nice when you get a little something in it.
Yeah, I can't wait for like winter at the Hollybush. It's fucking cracking, isn't it?
I hope we do another roast or something. Could it whatever, really, just something. But actually, even a year ago, because a year passes so quickly, I spoke to Dave about it loads. Just go and do like, I'll put something on up there or something, or we can put, just do something different up there. And he's like, do whatever you fucking want, mate. I know,
he literally does not give a fuck. And the people who are there don't give a fuck as well. Like, it makes me think of like, Vic and Bob.
Yeah.
And their crazy alternative sort of shows. That is the kind of venue that you could put that kind of lunacy on. I'm not saying like student improv unhinged lunacy, but you can really push the fucking boat with what you're doing, and they will still give it the time of day. And if it's bonkers and not good enough, they'll let you know. But they will fucking let it fly if it's.
I want to do at some point, maybe like in a year, I want to do like a live podcast, not necessarily streamed, but a podcast that you can film. You get like a bunch of comics on a table, chat absolute shit, but you do something like a talent show. Just get people from the audience to come and do something weird, and then you can kind of roast them. I don't know, but kind of make it wild. I don't know. I haven't got an idea exactly yet, but just some weird thing.
Oh fuck!
Are you all right?
The wind just blew the wind just blew a bunch of plants off.
Do you need to go and pick shit up?
No, I'll deal with it in a minute. Right. You know what I mean? It'll only happen again. Yeah, it's fine. They're fine. It's fine.
I can picture where you are because I think I've woken up on that couch a couple of times looking at that.
Yeah, man.
Well,
yeah.
Before we did the roast battle, I think Dave said he had passed out of yours the night before and woke up like naked on your kitchen floor or something.
Well, Jeffrey's, yeah, classic.
Oh, that was Flynn, I think.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We gave him an airbed and it fucking leaked, and yeah, gutted. Don't remember Don't remember the nudity.
I don't think anyone saw. I think he woke up on his own, thinking, "Where are my clothes? Why am I on the kitchen floor?"
Well, that's the part of living in an open plan flat. It's all the kitchen floor.
I've had a couple of sleepovers, which is always. I say sleepovers, I mean 5 to 8 a.m., which always much appreciated.
Napovers.
Oh man! And then walking through Bristol in the hot sun at like 7 a.m. just thinking, oh man,
it's foul. It's foul. We went to go and see some of our mates the other day, right? Who moved into a little bit of a swanky place, and me and Kate were there on the way there in an Uber, and I was like, why have I got oh shit! I remember walking back from somewhere near here, fucked off my face on ketamine at like 7 in the morning on a Saturday, and oh fuck, full on what's the word, like PTSD.
It might have been after. I'm pretty sure I stayed at yours after your wedding. Yeah, I did. I did because I remember I'm on their honeymoon. Someone said, "Where are you?" I was like, "I'm on their honeymoon." I just woke up on the sofa. But, I think I remember I went through Bristol, got all my shit from Tesco's, and went and laid in the graveyard on the other end of town, and just slept in there for an hour. It was a. I think I even stayed in Bristol all day because I just couldn't face the train, like being shaken around.
Do kids still smoke in graveyards?
Probably, yeah.
When I was a kid, we always used to smoke pot in the graveyard. I feel like nowadays kids are probably a bit more brazen with their pot smoking. They probably
people are for sure, but I think graveyards are probably still used for a little bit of tidy.
Yeah, you can always I used to love smoking in the graveyard.
You smell weed on every high street now. It's basically no one cares as long as you don't pull out a Cheech and Chunga in front of a cop. It's
interesting. I think. How long do you reckon it'll be before they legalise it in Britain? Because
a long time, just because it's stuffy. But I think properly medically legal, a bit longer. Although they're starting to do it with restrictions, aren't they? To be honest, it could take 10 years plus because it's stuffy here.
I feel that the way it works, so in America, obviously it's legalized in places like Colorado, but not at a federal level. But I feel that the local police are probably told, hey, look, just ignore people smoking dope. We don't give a fuck. We would rather catch rapists, right?
Yeah.
And then once you legalize it, if someone is hanging out on a street corner outside a school trying to sling a fucking bit of bud to kids, you just get rid of them because they're shops. You know what I mean? And I feel that in Britain, there's maybe a bit of a softly, police are told, look, we don't give a fuck about cannabis. For sure, because
like I said, every city high street I go down, you can smell weed. Yeah. Somewhere, someone's got a joint on. No one gives a fuck. Yeah, please aren't really, unless you're taking the piss.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, no one gives a fuck, and I think that
legalizing it will. I mean, imagine the tax revenue for the government.
It'd be outrageous. It'd be outrageous. I get all sorts of fucking snazzy weed at the minute. Some of it's all that California stuff, and it is incredible the branding that some of it has.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I might be able to go. Well, I'm going to be going to the US at some point, I think. But when I go, it's going to be I'm going to be seeking out proper edibles. So like jelly babies, and, manufactured in a factory.
Yeah.
With a precise milligrammage sweets. And
I mean, you can make
you
can make that shit relatively easily here. It's all to do with I don't want to go Joe Rogan on it, but it's all to do with, I think it's called deoxycarbonation, where you heat it up to the right temperature to activate the fucking THC and make it so that your body can metabolize. It's not soluble in water, but it is soluble in fat in it. That's how it is. So you can cook like cannabis butter and shit like that.
Yeah,
that's how. Yeah,
cook the brownies and that. Yeah, you can make stuff. A comedian that we know that looks like he's got a little mustache and he used to drive a convertible and he's now single. He said during COVID.
To be fair, that narrows it down. Only because of the convertible, though. Only.
Oh man! But he posted me 2 edibles from during COVID that his friend had made, and they were stars of death. They were chocolate, homemade. No idea what strength. I had no idea. And he said, take them on an empty stomach. Do you know what? I was a pussy. I took them on a full stomach and had slowly. But the second time, empty, and I took one whole one.
Go to space.
And I had 6 or 7 hours. I was laying down most of the time, having a weird half dream, half reality. It did make me feel sick when I was walking around, but laying down.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the whole night, and I felt very relaxed.
Like if I eat weed, it's been a fair few years since I last ate weed. But to be fair, I started smoking weed when I was like 12, and like I remember when I was 12 or 13, I'd like smoke bongs out the window and then just conk the fuck out for like an evening and have some like not LSD strength hallucination, but weird semi-conscious fucking, states. That's what eating it does. Yeah. That's what eating it does. Awake.
I can't even explain them. It was like a country full of gravestones, and I was floating over them. It was great.
Yeah. No, I've had like on my 13-year-old frail, puny little body, strong fucking bong hits had a radical effect that I just cannot recreate now. But eating it will fucking do that.
I was never massively into weed. Obviously, as you know, if I'm at someone's flat, I'll take whatever it is. I'll take it. It could be literally anything. So yeah, I'll smoke weed that way. But I've had edibles a few times. I like mushrooms. I feel that in my not too distant future, I'm going to increase my weed intake. I feel that that's a better place for me to go. Yeah, more weed, less drinking.
I think it's not good for stand-up. That's a weird one. But like, I find that weed is pretty good for my general mental health. There's a bit in, this is going to sound naff as shit, but like, do you remember that film Road Trip?
Yeah.
There's a guy in that film who like smokes weed, and he says that some people smoke weed to get high, and he smokes weed to chill himself out. And like that resonated with me big time, because I think that's I'm quite on the level with that. And I've got a lot less tied to it as I've got older.
Look at this, my New York contacts. If you need help,
go to NYC with edibles. Holy shit! 1 part condensed milk, 7 parts water, 1/8 of weed. Bring to the boil. Let it simmer on low for 45 minutes. Yes. Okay. I've literally got a tin of condensed milk in the fucking cupboard. I might do that.
This is Dean. He's a DJ in New York. He's a lad, and I now have someone. I've got 3 people in the New York area that are all pretty into weed, and I think I can get.
I'm gonna make it right. That's sick. I make some like, what do you call them? Like milk duds. They won't be dud.
Dean, what do you call this? What do you call this? Dean with the recipes. There we go. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
More weed, less alcohol. Yeah, but I'm always going to be. I've always been a boozer, and I always will be. I do love. But
yeah,
like I said. Before today, I haven't touched any in a week, so now I tend to drink once a week, and
that's pretty good. That's quite
in. Now
I'm not like that. I'm kind of daily.
I say that though, if I'm at a festival for 3 days, I'm going to be drinking every day. But I'm not necessarily
Yeah.
drinking 15 pints every day. I'll drink like 5.
Oh man, like I would really like to do comedy at a festival at some point. I can imagine the vibe of that is quite unique.
Well,
Because everybody would be.
the only real drinking buddy I had this time was Flynn. But if we went into the group show at Barnstable and took 6 of us,
yeah,
the trouble we'll get into,
I think it'd be hefty as fuck. I think it'd be really sick.
It's being around other people, but I like. Yeah, I don't really drink. I don't drink at home on my own. I'll drink on a podcast. It's kind of different, right? And I have some of these. I'll do whole nighters with that Brock artist guy, and we'll get Jamie on. And we'll just do 9 hours of regrettable conversation. But in general, I don't really have beers in the fridge anymore. I went out to get these today for this. It's like I'm not really drinking every day, but I've still got a problem because sometimes I'll just keep going until I can't talk anymore.
I'd say I'm a bit of a binger. That's my problem. That is my problem. Speaking of which, I might just quickly nip for a piss. Right, 2 ticks. Going for a piss.
Jamaican milk tea. That's what it's called. Do you know, I've been holding mine in for ages, not knowing if he wants to stop. When he comes back, I'm going to have to go for one, and I'm not sure he's ready for the solo in. Yeah, I watched most of Brock. I took a 7-hour sleep, 1 a.m. to 8 for me, so 7 to 2 a.m. for Brett's time. Stuck with him for a bit, then had to do a beer run, and then by the time we got back, he'd done the raid, so I guess he's sleeping now. Otherwise, he'd be welcome on here, but even though I'm running out of booze, actually. So, yeah, didn't expect to go this long with George, but we've got a few hours in today. This is the makeup for Tuesday, and I'm going to be getting on it. And there will be hopefully some big announcements soon for this podcast. Going to change a little bit, but it's going to be cool. I'm also coming to America for sure in October. New York, Austin, and then we'll see. Maybe LA, maybe. I've got a bunch of people who want me to visit and a bunch of things I want to do. So maybe just New York and Austin. We'll see. No, he woke up being anxious at 3, and I think he did 1 drawing early. He did 23 in 17 hours or something. It's crazy though. But he wake up early so he could. George, listen. Yeah. I've been holding on. I thought, can I go for a piss? And can you use words? I mean, these fucking idiots. There's only literally 2 idiots from New York in there. Just talk. You can say what you want. You can say I'm a racist. You can do what you want. I don't mind.
I'll tell them about this book I've been reading. I've been reading this book.
One second.
Welcome to book club. Welcome to book club New York. I've been reading this book. It's called Rites Assembly. Right? That sounds twatty, but it's good. And it's about New York during the apartheid, which sounds twatty, but it's good. And in the first chapter, a little old lady blows the head off her housekeeper, slave, I guess you could say. And then the police turn up, who are all incredibly racist, and they find out that the lady has also been injecting her housekeeper, slave, if you want, his cock with Novocaine to numb his dick so that she can have sex with him for longer. Housekeeper, slave, if you want. And it's a good book, right? So I don't know where to start really. I haven't got very far with it, but it's a lot of fun. And so far, on every single page that I've got to, there's just stuff that makes me laugh. So let me find a page. Oh, on this one, it's about shooting a Zulu in the face. I'll maybe not be doing this. Elephant guns that are designed to take off a man's head, or a charging elephant at 1,000 yards. It's mad. This book is well worth a read because it sounds wanky, but it's actually kind of funny. It's a bit old school. I won't lie, it's a bit old school, but it is quite good. I don't know what else you want from this. This is mad. I feel like I've been given a lot of responsibility and not the skills to back it up. I am gonna fucking dig out that tin of condensed milk, and I am gonna fucking do it 1 part to 7 parts water with an eighth of weed, simmer for 45 minutes, and go to fucking space. So thank you for that, Dean. That is definitely happening. I don't know how long it is. Yeah, I'll probably get that done before this gig tonight, so that'd be good. All right, Carl, I've just been doing a fucking little book review. Been doing book review with George, so that's been
There we go. Good.
good. Yeah, I think it's been good.
Not Mein Kampf again, is it?
Not this time. Not this time. I think that you'd enjoy this book, actually, Carl. I think you'd enjoy this book quite a lot.
Go on, what is it?
It's called Rites Assembly. It looks very old school, doesn't it? Well, Rites Assembly.
Riotous Assembly.
It's a fun book. It's fun, and it's all about South Africa during the apartheid. Sounds wanky, but it's good. In the first chapter, you find out that like a lady has shot the head off her housekeeper slave, if you want.
Like it.
But you also find out that she like injects him in the dick with Novocaine so that she can have sex with him for longer.
Yeah.
It's an odd. I'm not doing it justice.
No, I wasn't. I was just making a note of it, but there's nothing about that.
It's funny. It's funny. He did another one called Porterhouse Blue, and they had David Jason in it, and they did a TV adaptation, and that's quite a funny one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've heard. I think I'd heard of that maybe.
That's a funny one.
Blue. All right, well, it's in my note. My notes are full of literally 100 films, books, documentaries that I don't know if I'll ever see, but I always put them in my notes now. Let's see what's what.
I've become a bit like a bit hermetized. Like, I don't bother with the news anymore. The news is fucking shit.
Oh, I've bailed from that a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't bother with like I don't seek out sort of like news from alternative sources either. And I don't bother with like current music. I gave up on that a long time ago. Movies, TV, most of it I'm pretty fucking numb to now. I don't know. I don't want to.
I catch up with TV. I do movies. I'm a bit behind, but I do catch up. Music, yes, music. Except I know a promoter, and she posts new stuff which I'll listen to. News I bailed from years ago. Really, it's I see because I'm on Twitter a lot. I'll see if it pops up there, but I don't seek anything out. I don't look at the news. I don't care really.
Yeah, that's
I'll
it.
see what's happening. I'll know if there's a meteorite heading towards Earth, or we found zombie Nazis on the dark side of the moon. I'll find out.
I saw the big meme from the news in the UK lately is this thing about kettles, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
You seen this, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
And like that's funny because it is a funny little meme, but also it's fully taking the. I hate Boris Johnson. I've got no time for the cunt, but you can't sort of take a quote completely out of context because what he's talking about is nuclear power stations, I think.
Yeah, I didn't really look too deep into it, but everything's taken.
I didn't look too deep, but like it's just a thing.
That's what they do. Even like as ridiculous as Trump was, they still did weird shit and took him out of context stuff. He's like, why do that though? Because if he's mental anyway,
don't play to the game.
Why do you need to do extra?
Yeah. Why pander to like? All it does is fucking strengthen the resolve of people who otherwise would have reasonable doubts.
Because then you can go, he's right about fake news. Look at this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's the media's part of it all as well. So it's like, yeah, I mean, fuck the BBC as well, right up the arsehole. I've not.
Yeah, wow.
There's nothing of interest coming out of there. I haven't paid for it for years, and I won't pay for it. And I'm saying that on YouTube. Come and find me.
The only way that I've ever paid for the BBC is I've bought like DVDs of stuff that they've made.
Yeah, I brought the Office DVDs years ago, and I bought like the Young One stuff years ago. And
like Monkey Dust, fucking hell.
Yep.
I would always say that is such a funny. Mind you, like I rewatched it a little while ago, and does it hold up? Maybe
it's
not.
tough for a lot of those shows to hold up, isn't it? It's like
yeah.
But they're still good. I still remember watching it, and it was great at the time.
At the time, it was incredible. There was nothing quite like it, but it makes me feel like an old cunt for one, going like, "Oh, it was Blair's Britain. It was a different time." Yeah, exactly. Right.
In our day, but I honestly believe it's true, and I think it was at Edinburgh last year. It was right next to there was a BBC section, right, which is where all the wankers went that you couldn't get into. But one night on Bob's show, I made a joke about the BBC being paedophiles, etc., and half the audience went a bit quiet, and I just went, "Oh, you don't work for the BBC, do you?" And about 20 of them went, "Yeah, we work." Yeah, for the BBC.
That's hilarious.
So I just said, "Well, I just said, you were better when you employed rapists like that. Oh you had an edge."
Yeah,
but it's true though. The TV, whether they didn't give a shit what Rolf Forrest were doing, the TV shows were better. Whether they're correlated or not, I don't know. Now you've cleaned yourself up.
I think it speaks volumes that like every adult knows that children's TV entertainers are hopped up on coke, right? You can't be. You have to be. You have to be. You literally have to be. And like, there's no way that you can be up at 7 a.m. being tolerant of like there's no way.
You're working in media, and let's not mess around. Media is you finish work. You're down the pub and on coke by 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah,
it's just what it is. And then you've got to be up early, all that shit. And and when you think back, a lot of the cartoons we used to watch, they must have been conceived on psychedelics and stuff or heavy.
Yeah.
Because there was like Button Mooney, like crazy shit. What are you thinking of? Teletubbies, even. That's someone on drugs thinking of that. I mean, when I was a child. Teletubbies. That is someone on severe psychedelics.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I remember when I was a student, we used to watch. We used to get really fucked up on mushrooms or acid and watch baby TV if we were especially fucked, because it was just like a hallucination fucking greatness, right?
Peppa Pig and Wonder Pets. Even like 15 years ago, I'd watch that. It was kind of like, but then the songs. It's like Wonder Pets, we're on our way. Save a favourite animal. Save the get into the storylines.
I'm not familiar with Wonder Pets, I won't lie.
Great.
I was thinking the other day, actually, like, those memes that say, like, men only want one thing, and it's fucking disgusting. Right? You know what that one thing is, right? That is the theme tune to probably the best kids cartoon show ever. Are you with me?
Yes. There's too much. It's too much. I can't. It is dirty. It is dirty.
It's not dirty. What, X-Men? Oh my god. 90s X-Men.
90s X-Men was good. We had a show a few years before you as well called Mask, which was really good. It was like Mask Crusaders working all the time. I don't know, I remember that, but that was great. The Transformers animated movie.
Yeah, I was all about the toys with Transformers. I was a little bit too young to appreciate the.
But I found it again. I found it on video when I was like 19 and used to rewatch that Transformers animated movie. It's great. It's where Optimus Prime dies. And Megatron evolves into the next thing, and Optimus Prime becomes an Ultra Magnus or whatever.
Yeah.
It's deep. It's a deep film. So.
Japanese kids must be traumatized, right?
Have to be.
Because have to be. Because I don't know what I've got no exposure to Japanese children's TV.
But everything we know that culturally that comes out of LA, like the J horror and the the things that you hear about, like vending machines of panties at train stations and stuff. And maybe that's stopped now, but it's just a kooky place, and I want to go. I want to go to Japan. By the way,
I'd like to go. I kind of want to go because, like, I'm not. I know that I would be A, taller, and B, like, they'll just be like, oh, who is this Western pig dog? But they're too polite to actually say that.
I really wanted to say, ugh, but I won't.
Yeah, no.
Nobody can prove anything.
No, voicing your wants is different to actually doing. So that's yeah. No, I really want to go, and part of me, annoyingly, it is sort of because of Tom Green's Subway Monkey Hour.
Tom Green is absolutely wild. I want to go to Tokyo for the whiskey and the steak, right? And the crazy, like, Leicester Square on steroids Tokyo.
It doesn't need any more, just the crazy.
Yeah, the craziness of it. I want to go to a music gig because apparently they're all silent and they clap at the end.
Amazing.
A lot of bands that used to go out and they would literally be like, and then they're playing, going, do they like it? And at the end they're like,
so they must have like a nutty punk scene as well. Like,
I reckon so. Yeah, all that kind of shit. And then get out. I want to go to Hiroshima. Apparently, you can go there now and go, well, these people's backs are melted off for our freedom. Can I have some sake, please?
Sake kind of sounds gross. Like,
it does.
Obviously, you drink red wine at room temperature, but sake's like warm, isn't it?
I think I'd have to have it though. I always have to have the national booze, just at least try it, even if it's try one. But they're into their whiskey, they're into their meat, they're into just the weird cult. But then go in the countryside and see some like fucking blossom trees or something. I don't know. It seems like it's a cool country to have, like, spend 10 days out there or something. I don't know. And Korea as well, South Korea, obviously. But
I love to go to South Korea.
Equally kooky, but in different ways, I think, as well.
Yeah, it's like they've sort of gone, America, fuck yeah. And is that because they love America, or is it just a fucking middle finger to the North? Like,
both, yeah. Both.
Yeah.
Well, South Korea will get all the US support, I guess, as well. So it also, like, there's probably a lot of money coming in Korea from America.
They're like pretty much backed by America, isn't it? Like,
Asia for me is like multiple trips.
Yeah, that would be like going, I'm going to go to Europe and I'm going to experience the whole thing in one go. And like, I
think Japan is its own trip.
Yeah.
In likelihood, South Korea is too. But then I could look at like the rest of it, not all of it, but obviously like Vietnam. I know people that have done like Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand in a one-er. Maybe that's a lot, but two of them, like someone like Laos or Cambodia, people still don't think about those places.
I don't think it's Laos.
Hey, if you're from Laos, you're a Laos.
Did you have an experience?
I think I got my pronunciation from that from King of the Hill. Didn't Hank Hill have a Laotian name?
I tell you what, I watched Idiocracy the other day.
Mike Judge, yeah.
It's so good. Like Mike Judge, and I watched Office Space as well. And like Mike Judge, what a guy.
He was on a Rogan recently, actually, and they were talking.
Was he?
Yeah, they did one in the last couple of months. He was on. Went through all that stuff. So yeah, I loved King of the Hill. King of the Hill was one of the Beavis and Butthead when I was a child, but then I found King of the Hill later, and I just got so into it.
Yeah.
In my early 20s, and I think it's such an underrated show. It's there's so much good stuff in that show.
I never gave it the full time. I won't lie. I never gave King of the Hill the full time a day because it is a bit stodgy.
Yeah, it's
a bit like Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, I fucking love that as well. I think it's when you have to give it. You have to.
No, I
Watch
love
it.
Trailer Park Boys, but I think I watched Trailer Park Boys roughly from the beginning,
Yeah.
whereas like King of the Hill was pre-existing, and it is a bit like you've got to
think it's
give
one
in
thing
to all of the culture of it.
You've got to watch 25 episodes, and
Yeah.
then know like. I mean, Bill Burr's F is for Family kind of reminds me of it a little bit.
Yeah.
But you get into the world, and then the little in jokes and stuff. I don't know. I think it's such a smart show. But
Hank Hill's a lot cooler. I will say that. Like, he don't get angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's none of that. Like, I'll put you through the fucking wall. It's like, God damn it, Bobby.
Like, he had a lot of inner angry. Like his son wasn't an athlete, and he thinks he might be gay sometimes, and it's like, God.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Beavis and Butthead?
No, but that's what Joe went on Rogan to talk about. I think, but I think it would come out before. But yeah, no, it got like okay feedback as well. I think I'd give it a go.
Yeah, I think I need to watch it. I remember watching
Beavis and Butthead.
Well, Do America. I remember watching that when I was like, fuck, I must be like 8, like too young to understand it. Yeah.
Sorry. I remember about that. And we at school we had for some reason in English class they let us write a children's book for a local nursery each, or in pairs. And me and my friend wrote a book called Beavis Go Gets a Gun. We were like 12, but we drew like the character of Beavis was like a Ribena berry, I guess. It was like a purple ball, but the book was like Beavis Go Gets a Gun, and it was like the little. It was 10 pages. It was like, hey, I'm gonna go get a gun, and it was just like him getting a gun. I like
that a lot.
And then shooting someone, I think, at the end. But it got read out. We put it was handwritten and hand drawn, and I don't know how our teacher led it through. Their teachers led it through. They clearly didn't see it, but we got called up and we got a real bollocking for that. This was read out to like 5-year-olds. Like, well.
Yeah, we're not the editors. We're not. Who's the copy editor on this?
Yeah, we're the ideas men.
I remember in art. I mean, they did like write a 3-panel cartoon thing. You have to write a comic. Always try the national booze. Yeah, Malaysia. Trailer Park Boys is far superior to King of the Hill.
Listen,
I hear that.
I still haven't seen all of Trailer Park Boys. They've done so much stuff. It's
sick. It is good. I saw them live. I saw Trailer Park Boys live. They're so good. So good live.
I saw them in London in 2013. They did Hammersmith Apollo. They sparked up joints on stage.
I think I went to the same show, mate. I went to the same show. I was on the front row. It was great.
I was in the middle. They sparked up joints on stage, and the audience was sparking up joints. It was like,
I think I was there. Yeah, I think I was literally there for that show.
Yeah, I was very, very, very hungover and sat in there shaking. But I love them. It took me a while to get into it, but I think that they were still making it recently. They've made like 15 seasons.
They've got like a cartoon, I think, now.
And they set up. They had a podcast. They set up a website called SwearNet years ago. That is SwearNet.
That's funny. The film. Have you seen the film? Have you seen the SwearNet film?
I've not seen it, and I know they made 5 Trailer Park movies. I submitted to their website. They asked for videos like 10 years ago for they said post a funny video about why you love Trailer Park Boys and we'll put it on a website. And I remember getting on. It was part of a competition. I got quite a lot of votes, but it was just a silly thing of me doing an impression of Bubbles. I think.
Well,
I used to love doing impressions of Bubbles back then.
I used to have a Ricky hockey shirt back in the day. Wore it to the show. It was great.
Thing though, when you get into all the in jokes of like Julian just walking around with a Jack and Coke at all times, and I said he's driving, he just got his Jack and Coke.
When I went to the show, because I was wearing this fucking hockey shirt, it said Sunnyvale on it. We were on the front row, and nice. They were doing this thing where they were like, "Oh, do you want to come and meet us backstage?" And I won't lie, when we went to the show, I had to be back the next day for work, and I wasn't really looking to have that was part of the agreed trip that we'd made. We were like, we'll go, we won't get too fucked up. We get fucked up the next day after we finished our shifts at the pub. So I was going with the chef at the pub that I worked at, and the guy who plays Randy, you know that guy? I think his name's Pat Roach. Yeah. So
the guy who's sucking him off.
Yeah, the guy, he walks around with no shirt on, right?
Yeah.
And that big old fat guy. He comes on stage and he's like going like, hey, look, who wants to come backstage like later on, blah, blah, blah. And he comes and he goes, hey, you in the Sunnyvale trailer park shirt, do you want to come back? So I was like, fuck off, Randy. And I remember looking at him like, I remember there was like a moment where he was like clearly conveying, I am a real person.
You know what? It's a long time ago, but that's coming back to me. He did come out, didn't he?
I was there. That was me. And I shouted, fuck off, Randy. And the whole place laughed. That was hilarious.
There he is.
There he is. That guy. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I guarantee we're at the same show. It's weird.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That's amazing.
You got like Bubbles used to go off there. He's like, fucking Ricky, Julian.
Yeah.
Ricky would always get into some sort of scheme and end up getting arrested for like growing weed. And then
I love it.
Who were the idiots? Trevor.
Trevor and Corey. Yeah. It's so good. It's just like it's gross, but it still manages to be wholesome. That's what I quite like about Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where I was channel hopping back in the day, and I thought, is this a documentary for the first 10 seconds? Like these weird people at a trailer park. Yeah. And then you realise, it's a bit, but
it's the beauty of it. Yeah, man.
It's a never-ending thing as well. Canadians, man, they had that, and I would say Kids in the Hall back in the day, which I understand. They brought
Kids in a Hole.
Kids in the Hall. So they let me. I won't bring it up. But they did it. They brought it back in the last year, like 30 years later, 25 years later. It's a sketch group from Canada, and their sketches are fucking wild. They Canada's got when they do put something out, it's good. Obviously, they got Celine Dion and Bryan Adams. When something good does come out of there, it's like, okay.
Norm.
Canada. Yeah, I love Bubbles. Andrist, who these guys are massive fans of. I am too. We know him now. He's a good guy. He knows one of the writers from Kids in the Hall. I think Dave Foley. I think he's friends with Rogan as well. But it's like 4 young comics from Canada, and they just made this crazy sketch show. They used to be on
never
TV.
Heard of it.
Used to be on Channel 4 at like midnight in the 90s. I don't know how it holds up again, but I know they brought it back. But I think it was very surrealist, almost like a Legal Gentleman-y, but kind of not.
Oh, no, I'm well up for that. I'll have a look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 100%.
Try and dig some of it out. I don't know. I guess you were saying something before we talked about Trailer Park Boys, but it just seemed to.
I don't know. I forget, man. I forget.
Fuck it, mate.
A couple of beers in now.
I would come over to Bristol, but I'm not in Cardiff anymore, and it's an effort.
Yeah, but if you're like commutable to London, I might have to fucking hit your pad up just to fucking do some gigs in London or see what's happening. I'm
commutable right now. I'm commutable to like I can get. I'm not far from anywhere really.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't know where I'm going to go permanently. Honestly, but to be honest, I'm super flexible. If I go somewhere for 6 months and it doesn't work, I'll just move.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't really. My concern about where I'm going to live is comedy. To be honest, it's like that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fuck work. They can. I'm working remotely.
Yeah, you fucking laughing in that way. Yeah.
I'm not coming to the office, so you can ask who you like.
I think the Midlands. I think the Midlands is the smartest fucking place. The clue's in the name. Like, it's the middle. The scene there seems fucking pretty healthy.
I think so. And like, I had this chat with Dave in a Brewdog past after Drunken Heckle, and it's like, look at the country. London's full of bringers. It's also the general attitude in London is also wanky. Yeah. The Midlands, Manchester, wherever, Northwest, I think that's the best spot. It's the best spot. Yeah. It's the big cities. You're near 2 or 3 cities. No one gives a fuck in those places. It's not. You're going to get all kinds of attitudes everywhere, but I think in general, you can do what you want.
Yeah.
More fun.
I hear that.
And there is a lot of quality from up there as well. There's a lot of good people.
Man. Yeah, it's popping off. It really is popping off. Yeah.
I'm a lot of people attached to the Hollybush and stuff. They're cool as fuck.
Yeah.
They're good comics, and everyone's got good nights.
That's the place, really. The Hollybush is just what a place. What a place.
It's a very special place. I was speaking to
Yeah.
the students about it, and they're like, "Yeah, we went there one night. We don't really like it." It's like, "Oh, yeah, but he literally only opens for comedy." So
Yeah, it is. You've got to love it for that alone. Like, he knows what he's about.
it needs to be protected like the local shop in League of Gentlemen. Like, it
Yeah.
cannot be.
Yeah.
You cannot. He wants to build new road.
yeah.
Hollywood stays. HS2 will have to go round it.
Yeah, that is it. Like, yeah, it's a unique
And
thing.
it's like it's in the early 80s as well. It's that the attitude inside is you're in the 80s. You're lucky they take cards.
Yeah, fully. That's a new feature. Used to be cash only.
Yeah. There's no heating.
Yeah.
There's that fire that the fire starter Dave used to light.
He is dead, but he was racist.
I didn't see that. He did annoy me. He kept sneezing, I think, during a set. And I remember stopping and just called him. Could he have been in a fight the night before? And I remember stopping and I said, "No wonder everyone wants to kick your fucking head in." Just stop sneezing. And it's a global pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Obviously some weird. Always have to have a go at the locals up there. That's what the one thing always have to do. Like, you've all got 3 eyes and fucking 6 teeth, and no one believes in COVID, yet you all died of it.
Yeah.
Do that. I think I did that at Bushfest last year. Obviously, wouldn't do that again, but it's funny. It's just a fun place. Me and Dave went up during the height of COVID when it was kind of icky whether or not it should be open. It was legal though, but the stand-up was behind the bar in the back room, so comics went behind the bar.
Right.
And then, but that was a fun little weird one. As well. I think I jumped over the bar instead of walking round, and then realised I'm too fat and old, and it just took me like 10 minutes to get over the bar, and I couldn't get down on the other side because it's full of boxes. I was like, I should have done it.
Oh, that's good.
I remember taking a piss next to the manager during COVID, and he just, both having a piss.
Manager?
Yeah, but I didn't want to say his name, but he's going, something else is
going
going
I see.
on here,
Yes,
mate.
yes.
Something else is going on here, I'll tell you. This COVID. I'm like, good. Can I finish my piss? Like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to judge you about your opinion, sir, but can I just please finish weeing?
He was so funny at this one, at the most recent one. He started hurling bits of wood off during an act. Hurling bits of wood off the roof.
Oh, he's done that for the last 3 years. Yeah,
it's insane. Oh, it's so
fence
funny.
panels, right? And he just starts throwing stuff on.
Just belting them off. Yeah. It was amazing. Just hurling abuse while he does it. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I do. It's a special place, and when he might pickle himself like Richards, but the chances are he'll be dead in a few years. So we need to, comics have got to get together and get a co-op together or something to buy that place, because you can't let it be turned into a block of flats, I don't think.
Yeah, fully. That would be a tragedy. An actual tragedy.
Now, maybe install some heating and fix the roof. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe fix the roof. Maybe fix the fucking toilets. But little by little. Little by little, little by little.
Last year, I brought him a tray of candles from Tesco for the toilets. And he's like, thanks, mate. Thanks. And he didn't put them in there. We still had to piss in the dark. And then he brought them out. They were indoor candles, and he brought them out to the garden at night, put them all the tables, and they instantly all blew out.
Brilliant.
So these were for the gents.
Bring coal.
He ran a couple of years ago. He was with a barman, but last year again it was just him. He was the only person working for 3 days, and you know what? He did a bloody good job. He was taking people's orders, and he might have to wait a while, but he was serving everyone.
Yeah, he's on it. He is on it, and during acts as well. It's relatively discreet for a show being
comes around with a bucket of booze that there's your fucking
No, he's not shit. Yeah, man.
special place to Hollybush. But if you show anyone a
Yeah.
picture of it, it's just they're like, I'm not
I-
going there.
Yeah. Well, it defies description. That's the thing. I might have to go
Yeah, I
for a
was
piss.
gonna
To be fair,
Dude,
So,
we
like,
can wrap it up.
yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
yeah,
I thought this would be an hour. We've done nearly 3. Fuck it.
I know, it's fucking
Been
crazy,
awesome.
isn't it? Yeah, man.
Let's kill it. I'll kill the streaming
Yeah.
event.
All
Who
right,
was
man.
in the chat today? Dean, Kelly, and all this lot. Let me just end this. And thank you for all that shit. Share it.
Especially
And,
recipes. Cheers,
Come
Dean.
back. Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
save that recipe and we'll make some milky weed. He said it's called like Jamaican tea or something like that. I don't know, but is that?
Oh, try the fuck out.
Anyway,
Yeah.
fuck off.